To compete overseas, you can't go it alone. You need to be part of a team. A world-class competitor that's fast and well-trained.
Back live at Camp Randall Stadium. Today, you can tell the #1 ticket in town. Wisconsin against Penn State. Let's go downstairs to Dean Blevins.
Well, Mark, it's a surprisingly sunny day here in Madison. A beautiful day. We expected rain earlier in the week, but it's absolutely gorgeous. A little bit windy, could affect the kicking game. We'll be following several stories, including, take a look at these. We'll look into the massive offensive line of the Badgers, the largest in the land. We'll show you the largest player in college football. You won't believe this guy's numbers. We'll monitor Penn State quarterback Wally Richardson, who must become more comfortable to reach his potential. And there's an ice cream battle off the field between Barry Alvarez and Joe Paterno. Mark, tell us about the coaches.
All right, Joe Paterno, 31 years as head coach at Penn State. Curious to find out just how good his team is this afternoon. And Barry Alvarez has been in Madison for 7 seasons. He told us a couple of days ago he would be very surprised if his team did not perform extremely well this afternoon. We are set for the kickoff. Penn State won the toss, has decided to defer. Wisconsin will be receiving. Kicking off is Brett Conway for the Nittany Lions. And back deep, Aaron Stecker and Cecil Martin. And we are underway. Camp Randall ready to rock this afternoon. Stecker in the end zone, and Wisconsin will start off on its own 20-yard line. The starting quarterback for Wisconsin is Mike Samuel. He threw 3 interceptions last week against Stanford. That's a concern, John.
Yes, it is. 2 of those balls were tipped, though, Mark, and he's a guy that's got to make a lot of clear-cut decisions here today to run this offense. I think actually every week he's progressed as a quarterback.
6'3", 209-pound sophomore out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Wisconsin with its first series of the ball game. Both teams undefeated. McCullough and Martin in the backfield. Little waggle action. Martin open, and he can't find the handle. A poor throw by Samuel, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. Martin, one of the fullbacks in the backfield as we look at the Chili's backs and receivers. Carl McCullough, number 13, is the team's leading rusher.
Well, he had 98 yards last year against Penn State in this game, over 1,000 for the year, but they rotate the running backs for this team.
And up front, Jerry Wunsch, as in lunch.
He hasn't missed many meals. He's at 326. This line averages 308 pounds, and Dean Blevins will have more on this line later on.
We are in the cheese capital of the country. They give it to the tailback. That's Carl McCullough pounding forward to the 28-yard line for a gain of 8 yards. It'll be 3rd down and about 2 to go. Now let's take a look at this Penn State defense that has shut out its last 2 opponents. Brandon Noble, the leader up front.
And they've got to be concerned right away because that big Wisconsin front ran right at them, and that's where I think you can have most success against Penn State.
The secondary led by Brian Miller at the corner, a good one.
And he'll be matched up against 2 very tall and very speedy receivers here for Wisconsin.
It is 3rd down and 2 to go on the Badgers' opening possession of the game. 3 receivers in for Wisconsin, and they hand it off to McCullough, and he has got the 1st down, running over that big guard, all 305 pounds of him, Cayetano Castro, and Jerry Wunsch, the tackle. Brandon Noble made the tackle for Penn State. It's a 1st down.
Well, you know, Castro goes by the nickname Manny. I think we should just stick with that today. But they are awfully big. Cayetano Castro is out of New York, 305 pounds. And Jerry Wunsch, 326 on that right side. Good surge for the 1st down.
Backs out of the offset eye on 1st and 10. McCullough again off tackle. Over the right side out to the 35-yard line. Gain about 4.5 on the play. Nelson and Herring making the tackle for Penn State. It'll be 2nd down, about 6 to go for Wisconsin. Carl McCullough, the team's leading rusher a year ago, and this year so far.
And he's a long strider. You know, there's 3 different backs. They all have different styles today. Aaron Stecker will come in, and Rob Dayne will come in, the sensational true freshman. But each one offers something a little bit different to this running game.
Samuel back to pass. This is Tony Simmons. Simmons with a 1st down at the 42-yard line. He was working on Mark Tate, number 33, the corner, who made the tackle.
Tony Simmons was a bit of a question mark. He didn't practice the other day. He had a turned ankle. He's a track star. But it looks, at least in this, his ankle looks okay. A little hitch pattern up front. And this is the kind of things that Barry Alvarez wants out of his offense. Positive gains in the running game, quick, precise passes, not taking a lot of chances offensively.
Samuel coming out and running this team with the ball on the 41-yard line. Play fake. He was looking downfield and threw underneath, incomplete. Including last year, Wisconsin has won its last 4 Big Ten openers.
And that was quite a game last year. They held Penn State to their longest game of the day was 18 yards. And in many ways, it hurt Penn State's season. You lose that conference opener, and it can have a deflating effect on your team.
Darrell Bevell, the quarterback, had an outstanding day for Wisconsin last year. 3 wideouts on 2nd down and 10 to go. McCullough, the lone back. Little option package. McCullough trying to get to the perimeter, and he is brought down at the 48-yard line. So, John, a little different look that time by the Badgers with the option.
Well, you know, there's enough option, just enough in this package to allow a defense to prepare for this. And Samuel's a better athlete than Bevell was, so they can do this now with their offense. But it's just a quick option designed to get the pitch backside. McCullough does a nice job turning upfield. Now, as you know, when you have to prepare for an option package, you have to prepare for it in every defense you call. It takes a lot of time from your preparation during the week. And Wisconsin won't run that by 5 or 6 times this game.
That offensive line working its way down the field. Quick 3-step drop to the short side of the field. Firing complete to Hayes. And Hayes has another Badger first down. Nelson making the tackle for the Nittany Lions. As you look at the quarterback, Samuel, who is 3-0 as a starter.
And this is the kind of protection you like to get when these players can go wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. It's just a quick step by the quarterback. They shut everything off, get the hands down as best they can, and provide very good protection to Samuel. Quick passes so far. I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of out and up slant and go or anything like that right now from this offense.
11:50 remaining in the first quarter. Wisconsin on the game's opening drive. Another option. McCullough gets the toss. And he is stopped up in a big way at the 41-yard line. Nelson and Filardi making the tackle. Let's go back to John Saunders in New York with an update on Colorado.
Mark, it's been a tough year in the Big 12 for Texas A&M. They're probably longing for the Southwest Conference. Today against Colorado, they fumble the opening kickoff, and Ray Caruth takes the ball 28 yards as Colorado goes to the offense and scores first to lead 7-0. Mark.
Boy, all right, John, what a disappointing season so far for the Texas A&M Aggies.
They've really run into it, haven't they, so far this year? Everything's gone wrong that possibly could.
Samuel, complete to Martin out of the backfield at the 38-yard line.
Pass complete to Cecil Martin.
Cecil Martin out of Evanston, Illinois. Brought down by Brian Miller on the play. John, so far on this opening drive by Wisconsin, Mike Samuel, the quarterback, has been very poised.
He has. The first attempt, nobody was really open. There was a screen pass. He threw the ball away. But when he has open receivers, he's been able to hit them. And this is a Wisconsin drive. Just keep the chains moving, work on the clock, and they're already into their 11th play of this drive.
And this is 3rd down and 5 to go. Samuel's receiver falls down, and Samuel makes a nice move. Ho! The sophomore with a little shake and bake on Mark Tate, and he gets the first down.
Here's why Samuel had to pull the ball down. Penn State's tired of giving away the short passes. They play tough bump and run. Look what Brian Miller does to Hayes. Throws him down. That's where Samuel wanted to go with the football. He says, you know what, I can't throw to a guy that's on his back. I better take this thing down and run with it.
The coach has told us that's one of his strengths. He can make something out of nothing, a better runner than his predecessor, Darrell Bevell. 1st down and 10 after that 12-yard gain, and McCullough is rocked. He got his world rocked at the 32-yard line by Aaron Collins. AC working on direct current, DC that time. Flag down, though, at the 29-yard line. Our official today, the man with the white hat, Steve Payman.
That's a penalty against Wisconsin. You know, I'm looking at Samuel there, and he's on that previous run. He might have taken a hit. He looks like he's winded a little bit, doesn't he? Bent over. And that's one thing that coaches have been concerned about. He has a linebacker mentality that certainly endears him to his fellow offensive linemen and other tough guys on that offense, but he's got to take care of himself and the football.
In the name of longevity, John, I would suggest that maybe he reconsider that stance.
That's right.
Look at our officials once again this afternoon. Here's the call.
Illegal block in the back. Offense. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Replay. First down.
So they move it back to the 39-yard line after the infraction. 1st and 10. Kevin Lyles and another tight end, Eric Grams, into the ball game for Wisconsin. Martin and McCullough are the backs. 1st down and 23 to go. Backs out of the eye. Simmons split to the bottom of your screen. They run the draw, and there's absolutely nothing happening on that play. McCullough brought down at the 41-yard line by Fornato.
Yeah, Matt Fornato came in from the outside on a stunt. That's one thing, you know, this defensive line for Penn State is so outmanned. They're giving up a lot of poundage up front, so they're going to rotate players through, but also they're going to play a stunting kind of defense where they're shooting gaps and taking chances defensively. They can't simply just play head up and try to play off the offensive line for the Badgers.
Their biggest guy, as we mentioned, just 260 pounds up front. 2nd down, and Chippewa Falls to go. Underneath to the tight end, Lyles, who's run out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Aaron Collins. That's the guy we're going to hear a lot from this afternoon. And Lyles, number 9, making the reception.
He's a former quarterback who was given the opportunity a couple of years ago to compete with the good running backs they have here or to switch positions. He thought about transferring out, and finally he said, you know what, I'm going to stay here and play tight end, and he got his break when Ryan Sundrup, who started against UNLV, got hurt. Now he's the starting tight end. He bulked up to about 260 pounds. That's not quarterback weight.
Not at all. They put his bed in the weight room. 9:28 remaining in the 1st quarter. 3rd down and 14. Out of the backfield, that's McCullough, who's got butterfingers on that one.
I think you'll notice one thing about this offense for Wisconsin, and that is they cannot self-destruct. They're not enough of a firepower offensively to be able to overcome 1st and 23s or 2nd and 27s and that kind of thing. They have to just have positive gains on 1st down and minimize the mistakes.
And now to the adventures of John Hall, the place kicker for Wisconsin. Last week against Stanford, he missed 2 field goals. And there's a look at the pensive place kicker and the vocal head coach, Barry Alvarez. We'll be right back.
In an age of streamlining and downsizing, Chili's still makes its Big Mouth burgers by hand, one at a time, by a person. What this lacks in efficiency is more than made up for in taste. Chili's Big Mouth burgers, monuments of inefficiency.
Play football at Chili's this season. In every restaurant, you can win 2 round-trip tickets on Southwest Airlines to anywhere they fly, a football or Chili's Big Mouth burgers, all just for playing.
Some of the most admired cars you'll see are owned by the guys who know cars best. They're ASC certified master mechanics, and the #1 brand of motor oil these guys use in their own cars and trucks is Valvoline, makers of Durablend, the leading semi-synthetic for a cleaner engine due to better control of harmful deposits. So use the oil the mechanics who take care of your car use to take care of theirs. Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
If you were to make a list of the safest towns in America, at the top of that list would be Eau Claire, Wisconsin. If you were to make a list of cars with the most standard safety features for the money, at the top of that list would be the Chevy Cavalier. So if you lived in Eau Claire and you drove a Cavalier, would that make you one of the safest people in America? Probably not, but it's a good start.
Genuine Chevrolet.
The cars more Americans trust.
It's a big Big Ten battle when Penn State invades Ohio State, or other regional games featuring Nebraska, Virginia, and USC next Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Jerry Sandusky's defense, John, bending but not breaking on this drive.
Well, you know, this reminds me last week against Temple. They gave up a lot of yards early. Sandusky makes a lot of adjustments, and he does here. Look at his defense so far. Only 7 points in 4 games. 9th in total defense. Only 1 touchdown in 16 quarters down here at the bottom. And we'll see if they're going to give up some points here or not.
John Hall from 47 yards out. He's 2 of 4 on the year. And he has been inconsistent. This one is right down to Pike. It's the first points allowed by Penn State in 10 quarters, much to the delight of head coach Barry Alvarez. On a sunny, breezy Saturday afternoon in Madison, the Badgers lead it 3-0.
Someday, my office will have a window. Someday, my boss will be me. Someday, I will meet the man of my dreams. Guess not today.
The Chevy Camaro's 200 horsepower 3800 V6. Therapeutic, isn't it?
Let's see. About 6 billion people on Earth. Less than half with phones. Most without cellular. Even fewer on internet. Just discovered life on Mars. Got work to do. Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
And now from Paris, from Milan, from St. Louis.
Introducing a new look from Budweiser. Born on dating. It's the day your Bud was born, because fresh beer tastes better.
Nice label.
Thanks.
College football and ABC Sports brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. And Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. Just underway in Madison. I'm Mark Jones in the house, along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins. And right now, John Hall getting set to kick off.
He has to feel pretty good about that field goal. You know, his own team called a timeout. Usually the other team tries to ice you with a timeout. But here they were a little confused offensively, and Hall put it through the uprights after missing 2 last week. One from 43 where he hit the upright, one from 51 yards where he shanked it badly. So Alvarez is concerned about his kicker. So far, so good today.
Hall putting in long, arduous work over the summer at kicking rehab down in Florida. At the 1-yard line, it's Mitchell. And they're ready to rock the house here in Madison. Daryl Carter making the tackle, and this is the starting quarterback for Penn State. Wally Richardson completing just 47% of his passes. A little disappointing, John.
Yes, that's right. He's been inconsistent so far this year. He shares some of the blame, but I think more of the blame goes to the receivers than with Wally Richardson.
Still trying to work out the kinks and get that all-important chemistry developed between quarterbacks and receivers.
And this is the adversity Joe Paterno was looking for.
Pro set, Curtis Enis, number 39, runs for about 7 on that play on 1st and 10. David Lysick making the tackle, the 6'2 junior from Bethlehem, PA. And a look at the Chili's backs and receivers. Number 83, Joe Jurevicius, the leading receiver for Penn State.
He wanted to be the go-to guy this year. He had to wait behind Freddie Scott and Bobby Ingram, and he is the go-to guy. And if you want to follow the football today, follow number 64, Phil Ostrowski. He'll take you there 9 times out of 10 today. This is an offensive line that's only had 1 penalty for false starts this year. They're very disciplined.
Working against a swarming Wisconsin Badger defense, Enis showing you his strength and agility, bouncing off two would-be tacklers out near the first down marker at the 28. And there's a look at the Badger defense. Tarek Saleh, the guy to watch.
He had a monster game last week against Stanford with 3 sacks. Just needs 3 more sacks and he'll break the school record here.
And the DB's much improved this season.
Jason Suttle, I like him a lot. I mean, this is a guy who hits you, who plays great pass defense, and he comes up with big plays. He's one of those guys that have a knack for big plays.
Enis got the first down. It's 1st and 10. The nose of the ball for Penn State on the 28-yard line. Little bootleg action. Richardson is going to run himself. He tripped over the 32-yard line, fell forward to the 36. He'll be about 2.5 yards shy of the first down. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Penn State on its opening possession, and that is Carter, the linebacker for the Wisconsin Badgers, number 19 from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Last year against Wisconsin, Wally Richardson had a career day. 33 completions, a school record. 2nd down and 2 after that Richardson run. Backs out of the eye, Nastasi in motion. Here comes their version of Superman, and he's about to fly. Enis pushed out of the bound, the yard line. He gets another Nittany Lions first down, brought down and pushed out by Jason Suttle.
Well, Enis had that great game against USC with 241 yards. He's had some good games since, but I think he's cranked it up a little higher here today. See 28, Suttle, he lost contain on that. He had to keep Enis inside of him, and he misjudged the speed of the big man. Suttle cannot make mistakes like that today. He's going to get burned a lot more than that.
Enis already with 24 yards, and tack a few more on the total. Not this time, though. That's the fullback, Aaron Harris, number 25, who also has very good speed at 4.5 speed in the 40. Huntley making the tackle. Harris, a 5'11" 220-pound sophomore.
Well, it's quite a 1-2 punch for this running game, and neither one is a jab either. Both of these guys are very good running backs, and they're both young football players.
2nd down and 3 for Penn State. 6:50 to play in the first period. Wisconsin leading 3-0. Quick drop. Richardson fires complete to Nastasi, and Nastasi has another Penn State first down at the 35-yard line. So Wally Richardson, too, running this Penn State offense with a lot of authority.
Yeah, and there's a lot of similarities, aren't there? I mean, both coaches embrace this style of football. Power running, good, powerful offensive linemen up front, and short passing game to keep the chains moving. You can see Penn State's drive is almost a mirror image of what we saw from the Badgers in the first drive.
Very workmanlike and methodical. 6.5 to play in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for Penn State. Curtis Enis running between the tackles down to the 30-yard line. He'll pick up about 5 on the play. Enis, by the way, folks, at 6'1", 225 pounds, has a body fat count of about 7%. Now, John, some people up in this booth, I'm not going to mention any names, have 7% on their arms alone.
There we go. Well, I'm looking around the booth to see what you're talking about, Mark.
And we have an injured player on the field.
That's the center, Barry Tilsch. That could really hurt this offense. They'll have to juggle some people around in the offensive line.
Folks, Monday night on ABC, Annie Potts stars in the premiere of Dangerous Minds based on the hit movie. And Deion Sanders and the Dallas Cowboys head to the city of brotherly love. They'll take on the Philadelphia Eagles, their sibling rivals in the NFC East, on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. That's Monday, live at 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time, right here on ABC.
Actually, that was Jason Sloat. I thought it was 75. It was 15. He's getting taken over to the sidelines, the fullback who provides all that blocking for Curtis Enis.
John's 2nd down and 6 for Penn State. Approaching 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. They trail by 3. That's Nastasi in motion. Play fake. Harris incomplete. And he got hit by Daryl Carter, who is getting busy. He's getting his hit on today. The hits just keep coming for Carter.
And that's what's hurt Wally Richardson. You know, there he has an open receiver. He hits him, and Harris drops the football. But the Badger defense giving up just a little over 300 yards a game. That 6.7 points a game is number 13 in the nation.
And Penn State, as we mentioned earlier, tied with Ohio State, number 2 scoring defense in the country. 3rd down and 8. Wally Joyner at a critical juncture and answering the challenge. Jurevicius with a 1st down at the 18-yard line. He turned Weems inside out. Let's go down to Dayne for more on Wally's world. Dayne?
Yeah, you know, we talked about the Penn State quarterback off the top and the fact that he's a guy that really has to find his stride. He has to be comfortable for this club to go as far as they think they can go. He has all the tools. He has the mechanics and the arm and all that, but he's got to be in rhythm and be fluid. Sometimes he's too rigid, and he'll throw high. When he struggles, he'll hold on to the ball too long and throw it high. He's been perfect so far, though.
The son of a minister is 2 of 3 for a total of 22 yards. Harris, the lone back, little counter step. And Harris pounding his way down to the 13-yard line. That is tough sledding, John Spagnuolo. He got rocked by Lysick and Pete Monty, the Mike linebacker, number 48.
Well, this is an unheralded line before the season began, but I think Joe Paterno really embraces this guy. This whole line. Pete Marzik comes through on a tackle trap. Harris takes it inside. Number 71 tries to help out, but good running backs see the holes and they go for it. They don't necessarily just follow their blockers, and the Nittany Lions have been very impressive inside the red zone this year.
15 of 17. Split backs behind Richardson. Quick slant, incomplete for Jurevicius. A catchable ball.
Absolutely. It was low. It was in front of Jurevicius. That's exactly where you want that ball to be thrown. And Joe's upset with himself for not catching that.
And there's some of the chemistry, John, that we talked about moments ago.
See, and it rattles a quarterback. You know, if he's not good, this is his most consistent receiver this year. That ball's right on the money. And they rocked Richardson. You can see where it might play on his mind. He's not sure what players are breaking and that sort of thing. It's the 12th play of this drive.
3rd down and 6. Complete to the 11-yard line, but that's 4 yards short of the 1st down. Keep in mind, Wisconsin has not allowed a first quarter point this season. An impressive stat indeed. Monty making the tackle on the play on the tight end, Cuncho Brown. So in comes the place kicking unit for Joe Pop.
Both teams with long drives. Both teams consuming a lot of time in their first drives, and both teams having to settle for field goal attempts.
Brett Conway in to attempt a field goal from 28 yards out. We have flags on the play, and we'll see who this infraction is against. Here's the call from Steve Payman, our official.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
And Jopa has a few more gray hairs on his lid after that.
One more similarity, and I don't want to stretch this point out too far, but Wisconsin had to call a timeout. They had trouble getting their field goal set, and Penn State has a penalty for delay of game.
Barry Alvarez in his 7th year at Madison. A lot of similarities between the 2 programs and the 2 coaches. Conway's 4 of 6 on the year. This is from 32 yards out, and Conway has got it like that. We are knotted at 3 apiece, so Conway says anything you can do, we can do just as well. We'll be right back. We're tied at 3.
Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame. Wake up the echoes cheering her name. Send the volley cheer on high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win overall. While her loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
Just a reminder, next time you need a little help getting airborne, the 50,000 employee owners of United Airlines would be more than happy to help. Come fly our friendly skies.
If you were to make a list of the safest towns in America, at the top of that list would be Eau Claire, Wisconsin. If you were to make a list of cars with the most standard safety features for the money, at the top of that list would be the Chevy Cavalier. So if you lived in Eau Claire and you drove a Cavalier, would that make you one of the safest people in America? Probably not, but it's a good start. The cars more Americans trust.
A look at the best coach and maybe the best handball player to come out of the BK, as they say in Brooklyn. Joe Paterno from Bedford-Stuyvesant in New York. 47 total years at Penn State, 31 as head coach. He embodies everything that is Penn State Nittany Lion football.
I had a chance to visit with him last night. We know about his handball background. He told me his father was a boxer too, and he still has a speed bag in his garage. Likes to go out there and work with a little bit. As a matter of fact, he incorporates that into his offensive linemen. He likes them working with a punching bag to help them with their blocking on offense and their moves on defense.
But he is 0-2 against Wisconsin. He has yet to beat the Badgers. And Conway airmails this one out of the back of the end zone. Wisconsin will start off on its own 20-yard line with its second offensive possession of the ball game. 3:56 remaining as we look at the relatively even numbers in times of possession, yards, and plays.
Very similar. Very similar. Time of possession, the whole thing, and both led to field goals. We'll see what Wisconsin can do on their second time around. This may be one of those games where you just don't get that many opportunities to have the football, and you have to do the most with it when you have it.
And in the ball game now, number 33 for Wisconsin, Ron Dayne. And he gets the call. Dayne running off tackle to the right side of the line, brought down after a gain of about 1 or 2. He's 5'10", and dig this, folks, 260 pounds, runs a 4.6 40. Superman might be wearing red today.
You know, he weighs more than the defensive tackles for Penn State. Last week, he came in the fourth quarter against Stanford, 12 carries for 75 yards. The rest of the team had only 26 yards on 26 carries. He can really change the way this offense plays football.
And he has quickly become the people's choice here in Madison. Play fake, backside pressure, and Samuel is brought down by Collins. He hit him with the rhythm from the backside.
It's a blown protection problem. You're going to see him coming right off the left side here, and nobody blocks for him. McIntosh, 75, steps in. Aaron Collins has a clean shot to the quarterback. Somebody has to protect on the backside. There goes number 6 once again, untouched. We saw a lot of this against Louisville in the second game of the season, where Aaron Collins was disruptive, coming from all over the field and creating problems for the quarterback.
An offensive line having to keep an eye on the likes of Aaron Collins. Good quickness up front by the Nittany Lions. Samuel incomplete. He overthrows Tony Simmons. And for more on that huge offensive line, Dean Blevins.
Well, guys, you mentioned Dayne and what a big player he is, but unbelievable how big the offensive line is. 9 of the 10 offensive linemen on the 2 deep are 300 pounds or more. Take a look at these numbers. Height almost 6'6", weight 309 is the average. The lightweight is the little guy at center, Derek Engler, at 301 pounds. Total tonnage, look at that, 1544. Put it into perspective, guys, a 9-foot grand piano or a 16-foot ski boat. And this doesn't include the largest guy on the team and the largest guy in college football. We'll tell you more about him later.
All right, Dean, won't be taking those guys out to lunch anytime soon. On the punt return, Penn State will have very auspicious field position after that return.
You know, I can't believe Dean Blevins went out and bought a piano and a boat just to weigh them and see how much they were compared to the line.
If he put them in the boat, they'd all sink. Lamar Campbell making the tackle on that return. Tomorrow night on ABC, an hour of America's Funniest Home Videos starts your night off, followed by a spectacular new episode of Lois and Clark. Then 90210's Jenny Garth and Melrose Place's Rob Estes star in the year's most scandalous movie, Loss of Innocence. all tomorrow night here on ABC. Wally Richardson at the helm at quarterback for Penn State. Game knotted at 3 with 2:18 remaining in the first quarter. This is their second possession offensively. And Jervicius is open. Jervicius complete at the 7-yard line. Scorching that secondary, in particular, number 6, Kevin Huntley.
Actually, Huntley was not all that bad out of position. But when he ran to catch up to Jervicius, how many times do you see this where a ball that's underthrown deep gives the receiver the advantage? Now watch where the ball comes. It's a little underthrown. Huntley's trying to catch up number 6, but Jervicius had more time to track the ball down with his eyes and with his tall frame go up and make the catch.
Jervicius, John, had a hit pointer against USC. He has deceiving speed. First and goal for Penn State. 1:50 remaining in the quarter. Enis spinning, brought down at the 5-yard line. Enis very agile with that spin move. Often you'll see him cut to the sideline and cut inside. That time, though, tackled by number 48, Pete Monty, and Daryl Carter.
You know, they were so impressed with Enis when he came as a high school player to the Penn State football camp. They had triple-day sessions. He used to get up at 5:30 in the morning and run before the triple days. They said, you know, it's kind of like Herschel Walker in terms of the lore about this guy and what he does in his conditioning.
Second down and goal. Nastasi in motion. Richardson looking back. And he made a good decision that time, John, throwing it away. Incomplete, intended for the tight end, Cuncho Brown.
Yeah, Daryl Carter was not to be fooled with that throwback. They tried to get everything going to one side of the football field and work Cuncho out underneath. Carter was right there.
The Penn State scoring drives have been brief and successful in '96. This current drive under 3 minutes, 1:11 to be exact. 3 plays eclipsing 48 yards. This is the 4th coming up with 1:07 to play in the quarter. The counter to Harris. Nice move inside. It's not a touchdown. He's brought down about a foot shy of the end zone.
Awfully close for Aaron Harris, and Paterno's going to have to make a decision. Harris had 2 touchdowns last week against Temple. Out of Exton, Pennsylvania. He turns it upfield. I didn't think he had a chance right here, but look at the power in his legs, the forward lean, and he gets awfully close to that end zone.
John Spagnuolo, a defining moment early in the ball game. 4th and goal. Joe Paterno deciding to go for it.
Sure, and this is how you take the crowd out of a game in a hostile environment.
They're 2 of 3 in 4th down conversions. Enis gets the call, and Enis takes it to the house. Touchdown, Nittany Lions. Just the way Joe drew it up. And if silence is deafening, then it is real deafening now at Camp Randall.
Excellent blocking up front. Tight end number 87. That's Keith Olsemer on the left side there. Number 15, Jason Sloat, comes back into the game, makes a good block, and so does Aaron Harris, 25. That is great execution down around the goal line. That tight end, Olsemer, is a big part of this blocking game for this offense. Keith Olsemer is doing a great job.
Tight ends have always been an integral part of Joe's offense. Conway in for the extra point. He is perfect on the season. He is now 17 of 17. Well, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the genuine Chevrolet most valuable player of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has awarded nearly $6 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. A look at the impressive numbers put up by Curtis Enis so far, averaging 5.2 per pop. Now, here's a guy that the coaches have to make sure, John, that he eats enough. He's such a health freak that they have to make sure that he gets his share of calories.
So he's worse than you? I mean, he doesn't do the ginseng and all the other stuff you're taking.
You don't have to call me twice for dinner, my man.
For the Badgers, Aaron Stecker.
Enis is quite a specimen, and you know, they want the football in his hand, and I see a whole different attitude. You know, he didn't play against Northern Illinois. He had a strep throat and that kind of thing, but today these guys are ready to play.
Here's the kick from Conway. That's Stecker at the 10. Cuts back, looking for a seam. Aaron Stecker slithering his way through the defense. A nice return, folks. Pushed out of bounds by Kim Herring. He brought it back 30 yards.
That's a good drive by Penn State. Wally Richardson, despite the fact that he's had some drops and some people not where they're supposed to be, executed that drive very well, especially with the big play that set it up downfield. 4 for 7, 70 yards, but that play on the play action to Jer Vicious was the big play in that drive.
Yeah, John, it's interesting how last year, even though they lost and Richardson had a good day, a lot of the blame fell on the shoulders of the quarterback, unjustifiably so. Now it's time for Mike Samuel, the quarterback for Wisconsin, to go to work. McCullough and Martin in the backfield, and McCullough is stopped up at the 30-yard line. Aaron Collins making the tackle. Number 6 is bringing his six-pack to work. And they lead by 7. Penn State leads 10-3 as the first 15 minutes of play are in the books. We'll be right back.
Someday, my office will have a window. Someday, my boss will be me. Someday, I will meet the man of my dreams. Guess not today.
The Chevy Camaro's 200 horsepower 3800 V6. Therapeutic, isn't it?
What if your car slips off the road in Slippery Rock? Or you need the name of a mechanic in Mechanicsville? Well, if your car's insured by State Farm, just look up the local State Farm agent. Almost anywhere you travel, whether it's a big metropolis or just a little one, a good neighbor is always nearby to help. So if your car gets stolen in Thief River Falls, or you have some trouble in Paradise, hey, don't worry about it. State Farm is there.
In the beginning was the ordinary battery. Then came the long-lasting Duracell battery. And now, the next leap forward. Introducing Duracell Power Check, the only battery with a fuel gauge. So you can see how much power it has, anytime, anywhere. New Duracell Power Check, the world's most advanced battery.
John, the Nittany Lions love playing on the rug. They've won 23 of their last 24 on turf.
They have an outdoor one with AstroTurf on it, but of course they play on grass. But I think this is a quick football team, and they enjoy the added quickness that the turf surface gives them.
It is 2nd down and 11 for Wisconsin. That's Hayes in motion. Another waggle. And Samuel, you know, he's got some quicks. Samuel runs up to the 43-yard line for the first down for the Badgers. Finally run out by Brandon Short.
And he's a tough kid. You know, he's one of 5 sons. He's the second youngest. So when you have 3 older brothers beating up on you all the time, you know you're going to be tough, and that's why he's not afraid to turn the football upfield.
You sound like a guy speaking from experience.
Yeah, I've been wailed on, too. Sometimes you get banged up, too. You know, he wanted to go to Penn State, but they did not come a calling, and he signed with Wisconsin 11 days after they won the Rose Bowl a couple years ago.
From Philadelphia, PA, Martin in motion on 1st and 10. Quick 3-step drop, complete to Hayes at midfield, right at the 50-yard line. As we take a look at the numbers for the first quarter, time of possession relatively even. The big discrepancy coming in total yardage, 124 to 56.
That's right. Remember, both drives for first team, both initial drives were fairly even. It was after that that Penn State had the big drive for the touchdown, and that's where they have the advantage in the yardage so far. No turnovers, and that's what these teams want throughout the day. It's typical of the kind of football they try and play.
Samuel hands it off. That's McCullough making it right near the first down marker, and they're going to give him the first down at the 46-yard line. Bucky on the left, the #1 most recognizable mascot in college football, trying to vanquish his mascot foe today.
Well, that Nittany Lion can't be far behind.
No, not at all. First and 10 for the Badgers. The nose of the ball on the 45-yard line. Just underway here in the second quarter. Penn State leading 10-3. 3 wideouts for Wisconsin. That's Hayes in motion. Samuel runs it again. Pushed out of bounds at the 44-yard line. He'll have 2 on the play. Kim Herring, the 6-foot senior, who had perhaps his best game ever against USC at the start of the season, pushing Samuel out of bounds. Samuel, 21 of 30 for 236 yards against Stanford last week. At one point, John, he hit 10 consecutive passes.
You know, and when I talked to Mike Samuel, and I asked him about the Penn State defense, this is the number he came up with. He said, I got to watch out for number 3. He's quite a football player. So Kim Herring closed quickly on Samuel on that play.
Ron Dayne now in the game, but they throw it to Cecil Martin. He doesn't get a chance to touch the pill often, but that time made a nice catch and a nice run down to the 39-yard line, brought down by Fornato, number 99. Cecil Martin, number 37, a gregarious, outgoing type, a real personable guy from Evanston, Illinois. John, we're in trouble because he's a good speaker, and he says he wants to become a sportscaster. I think he said he wants to become an analyst.
You know, it doesn't take much to be an analyst, I can tell you that. But he is a guy the coaches talk about in glowing terms. Brad Chilvers, the offensive coordinator, said he'll be a 2-time captain here at Wisconsin. That's how well-liked he is by his other players.
Ron Dayne in the game, but this time he's a blocker, dangerously thrown into traffic. Sean Lee, number 24, the strong safety, had a beat on it, but it was a little high for him to haul in. There he is, number 24. He's small, but coaches say he plays a lot bigger than his 5'7", 172-pound frame. He's a junior.
I bet he wishes he were about 6 feet tall, though. He'd have himself an interception. And here's where Penn State has taken away that short passing game. They've done it twice now. Remember when Farmer got thrown down? I'm sorry, Hayes got thrown down by Miller in a short situation. And here they jump the short route again and deny the first down.
Wisconsin with a new punter in, Skrzynczak, punting it into the end zone as John Hall, number 14, has been pulled. Penn State will start off at his own 20 when we come back. The Nittany Lions leading 10-3.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Road and Track says the new V6 is a high-strung engine born to gallop. Chris Hayward said,
I'm surprised. A car this comfortable has that much pickup.
Automobile Magazine named Taurus Design of the Year. And Ray Wells agrees.
The new shape is just fantastic. Ford finally got me.
The new Ford Taurus. Now with $1,500 cash back, Taurus starts at just $17,045. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Perfect for any game, Domino's has the perfect play. Choose from 3 delicious crusts. There's classic hand-tossed, crunchy thin crust, or go deep with thick ultimate deep dish. So make the call and have it all. Call now and try our new Roma herb crust or any large one-topping pizza for $9.99. Any second one-topping pizza, just $4.99.
3 decades since he last thundered the immortal words, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. A new generation of football players can only imagine what Vince Lombardi would say if he stood astride the gridiron today.
Hey, Shakespeare, shut your pie hole and let's play football.
That ought to get your testosterone percolating.
A new man is gonna heat up Saturday nights.
Mom, it's me, Jojo.
Hearts will pound a little faster. All new Second Noah, ABC tonight.
College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Ford Motor Company, where quality is job one. And Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. It's a cheesy day here in Madison, but what else is new?
Adds new meaning to breaking the wedge, doesn't it, on that kickoff?
30 billion pounds of milk converted into 2.5 billion pounds of cheese, pardon me, each year. It's a lot of Parmesan on your pasta.
And cheddar and everything else.
Can't get skim milk in these parts. Aaron Harris pounding his way out to the 22-yard line. on 1st down and 10. Harris brought down by Carter on the play.
I think it's real important for the Badger defense to step up here and keep Penn State from converting a 1st down. Penn State's been able to move the ball effectively so far today, and this Badger defense is ranked number 10 in the country in yards against rushing, only 68 yards a game. Penn State's been able to run effectively so far, though, today.
John, that first quarter has to do loads for Wally Richardson's confidence as well. Broken play. Richardson makes something out of nothing, lunging out to the 24-yard line. He'll gain about 3 on the play. He and Curtis Enis trying to get things squared away. Tarek Saleh in on the tackle for Wisconsin.
You know, you got a sense of what the line's doing. Even though they were having problems in the backfield, it took a while for that defense to converge on him.
John, we haven't heard much from Saleh this afternoon. Surprise?
Not at all. After the way he destroyed this offense last year, Joe Paterno said, we're going to keep more than one person on him, and we're going to identify where he is on every single play. They're not going to let Saleh beat them today.
Right now, he is lined up to the left of Richardson on the rush. Saleh applying pressure, and the throw incomplete, intended for Curtis Enis. But Tarek Saleh, 40 deuce, was right there.
He's working on Bill Anderson, Tarek Saleh, and this is where he's most dangerous in this defense. Coming off the edge where he can get around a tackle. He's not very big, but he is a motor that just does not quit running. Joe Paterno tried very hard to get him into Penn State. He pulled out all the stops, but Saleh wanted to go to Wisconsin all along.
Saleh, John, an All-American candidate. And don't think for a minute that Joe Pa isn't wistfully thinking that, or hoping that things would have turned out differently. Rosga returning it, and he calls for the fair catch at the 23-yard line. A nice punt that time of 53 yards. 10-3, Penn State leading when we come back.
Room 1203 wants to swim without floaties. Marriott, when you're comfortable, you can do anything.
The job needs 4 guys now, and the guys need all their equipment. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150, the only full-size pickup with a standard Super Cab third door, 60/40 split rear bench, and standard dual airbags, plus a taller cab for more hat and boot room than ever. After all, the guys aren't getting any smaller. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
In this week's Marriott Moment, we take a look back to last year when the Badgers traveled to Happy Valley. Darrell Bevel, the quarterback, threw 2 touchdown passes. The first to Matt Nyquist for 21 yards in the first quarter right there. Then in the fourth quarter, with the score 10-3 Wisconsin, Bevel connected with touchdown Tony Simmons. Another 21-yarder. Wisconsin won it 17-9. And everywhere you turn in Madison, there's a Bucky Badger doll waiting. Believe it. 11:27 to play in the first half. McCullough and Martin in the backfield. Another waggle. They tried this play on the first play of the game. Martin, his forward progress will be marked at the 20-yard line. No, it's not a fumble. Miller made the hit. Let's check in with John Saunders for an update on UCLA and Michigan.
Mark, the Wolverines at home once again. UCLA with a very tough road schedule. Scott Dreisbach hooks up with his running back, Clarence Williams, who sneaks out of the backfield and is wide open. Stays on the sidelines, takes it to 53 yards for the touchdown. Michigan leads 7-0. Mark.
Well, John, I think the honeymoon is over for head coach Bob Toledo at UCLA.
He better have a talk with his AD. He went to Tennessee in the opener. Now he's in Michigan, and they haven't even started their Pac-10 schedule.
Samuel picked off. He went the wrong way, and it's Miller time. Brian Miller brought down at the 19-yard line on the pick. Samuel made the tackle, but he probably didn't want to end up in that precarious position.
Samuel tried to get the ball over Brian Miller, who's playing bump and run up in sort of a two-deep zone off the play action. He's got to get a little more height on that football. You can see where Miller's in very good position to pick that thing off.
Brian Miller, big play.
Yeah, there it is. And there's where that corner just hangs in that zone, but he can trail, and he followed behind Ahmad Barrett. That's a big turnover. Wisconsin now in very poor field position defensively.
1st and 10 for Wally Richardson from the 19. They fake the counter over the middle, complete to Olsemer. First down at the 7-yard line, and Richardson is throwing darts today.
Wally looks settled, doesn't he? He's playing real well. It's a nice catch for Olsemer. This Penn State defense is very opportunistic. Richardson's 5 for 9, 83 yards, but on 10 turnovers they've cost this year, it's resulted in 52 points. This is the 11th turnover, and they look like they're in a position to score.
The law school student ready to bring law and order to the turf here in Madison. 1st and goal. Richardson hands it off to Enis. And Enis scores another Penn State touchdown. Just like that. An interception, and 2 plays later, they cash the check for 6 points.
And again, they go to the left side, the right side of the Wisconsin defense, running behind their powerful left side. Same play they scored on with Enis before on 4th down. Get a good shot. Enis following behind Harris, 25. It was the same formation as before. Good blocks downfield. Joe Nastasi even gets involved, number 21, the wide receiver. Right at the end of this play, locking up downfield with Tuttle.
And the extra point by Conway is good. He has now made 98 straight. Well, Joe wanted to find out what kind of team he had. The returns are pretty positive right now. We'll be right back.
This is Ford Escort. It's new and it's nifty. It's made for the smart, the intelligent thrifty. It's new out and in, has airbags for 2. Even anti-lock brakes are available. Ooh, the trunk, it is huge to hold tremendous treasure. And if your treasure is of stupendous measure, the rear seat folds down to let bigger things in, still leaving room for your next of kin's kin. It has all the whatsits and gidgets, to put it concisely, and Escort's right price should suit you quite nicely.
Drug and alcohol abuse has become so common that most of us know someone who is a user.
Maybe that someone is a classmate. Maybe he or she is a relative or a friend. Maybe that someone is you.
If you are involved in substance abuse, it's not too late to stop. There are programs and people in your community who are ready to help you if you are willing to help yourself.
Think about it. If you can stop using drugs and alcohol, you can stop wasting your money, your friendships, and your life.
With 2 touchdown runs today.
Right. That thing gave me acid indigestion. He's got to be giving this defense for Wisconsin acid indigestion, too.
Oh, yeah.
Big numbers so far, 5.4-yard average, but 2 touchdowns, 1 off the turnover.
Lionel Richie couldn't have sung it any better. Writing up a song for Curtis Enis right now. Writing one about him. He would read the touchdown kid. Kick out of the end zone, actually out of bounds at the 7-yard line by Brett Conway.
That's very rare for him. He had 19 kicks into the end zone so far this year, including today. And rarely does he miss a kick like that. He's got a very strong leg.
John, Wisconsin down by 14 points right now. Here's a
Legal
call.
procedure, kick out of bounds on the kicking team. Receiving team by rule has elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
It's going to be interesting to see how Mike Samuel reacts after that last interception. He's an inexperienced quarterback. This is only his 4th start.
Yeah, they're trying to get the ball downfield. They needed to. They're jumping to shorter patterns. Penn State is. His longest completion is only 11 yards.
This is Ron Dayne running between the tackles out to the 40-yard line. This is the guy that the coaching staff is pinning some of its hopes on. I don't want to say all of its hopes because they don't want to give him too much too soon. As you look at his large, imposing frame, he's only a true freshman, and they don't want to give him too much in fear of him crashing and burning, although he's proven over the last couple of games that he can handle tough situations, especially the fourth quarter against Stanford in their last game.
This is the only time we've seen him in the first half so far in his young career.
And here he is again, Dayne, out to the 43-yard line, and he has a first down for Wisconsin, brought down by Jim Nelson, number 44.
I think Dayne's a little upset with himself. He had an opportunity to burst that outside. Florida off to a good start against Kentucky. No surprise there.
And Ohio State up big on Notre Dame at South Bend. Big day in the Big Ten Conference. UCLA taking on Michigan. Wolverines leading at last word. Third down and 3 to go. Lyles in motion. It's Dayne time. And he bowls over number 3, Kim Herring, the free safety, who came up and got rocked. Collins finally made the tackle for the Nittany Lions. Dayne, a very versatile athlete, competed in track in high school, and there are a lot of other good athletes, particularly track athletes, on this Badger crew. Kevin Huntley, a high hurdler, ran under 14 seconds. Cecil Martin, a shot putter. Iskard Bernard, also track and field guy. Here's Dayne again, this time stopped up in the backfield, right at midfield.
A good play defensively. Jim Nelson's in there, number 44. Brandon Noble, of course, and Chris Snyder, 91. They're all in there. And I think, you know, this is what the Badger offense does the best, and that's run right at you. And who better to do it with than Dayne? I mean, last week they had trouble against Stanford trying to get outside with McCullough. He came in the game, takes a couple little dance steps, and he goes. And believe me, he goes straight ahead.
North, south are the only two directions, John, that he knows.
Well, when you're 260, why do you need east and west?
Sure. Second down and 9. Dayne in the backfield. Play fake on the waggle. Complete to Martin. Martin out of bounds at the 42-yard line, 2 yards short of the first down. There are some big players down on the field. We talked about that offensive line. Well over 300 pounds each guy.
Yeah, that play fake was a lot more meaningful going to Dayne than it has been in the past. They've run that play about 4 times now, that bootleg action. And finally, Samuel's able to get it out successfully in the flat to Martin.
John, it's third down and 1. 3 receivers and Dayne in the backfield. Hayes in motion. No surprise, it goes to Dayne, and he bounces forward over the 40, down to the 39. You know, John Detman does a lot of good work with Ron Dayne and other Wisconsin players in the weight room. He's the strength and conditioning coach, and it pays huge dividends on that play. Dayne showing his strength. He gets those guys bulked up. And they've taken a different approach this year, John. Barry Alvarez has in preparing his guys strength-wise for the season.
Yeah, a little less conditioning early on and a lot more powerlifting through the summer. He felt his team wore down last year. That conditioning program was designed to prevent that this year.
And here's Dayne running north-south down to the 34. Dayne is the type of guy that can wear down defenders. Gerald Filardi making the tackle that time for Penn State.
And I think that's what Penn State's got to worry about, Mark. You said it, wearing down defenders. I think they're going to run right at them with this big offensive line. They gain a lot more yards in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter, than they do throughout the football game.
Second down and 5. Quick 3-step drop. Complete to Hayes, and he stopped up at the 31-yard line, down to Dean on one of the biggest bodies in college football.
Well, not one of the largest body in college football. Take a look at the numbers of Aaron Gibson, the backup right tackle for Wisconsin. Plays on the largest line in the country. Look at those numbers, 6'7", 378. Came in at 401, guys. Look at how big those numbers are, including his shoe size. This is one of the shoes of Aaron Gibson. The day he checked in at 401, he vertical leaped 31 inches. So the guy is fairly athletic as well. I understand he can do the splits at a party as well. Has done so, in fact.
I think I felt that tremor when he landed on that vertical jump.
Hey, Jonesy, he turned 19 yesterday. This guy, all these numbers were when he was 18. When he grows up, he's going to be a big man.
As long as I don't have to feed him, Dean, it's all good.
Oddly enough, you know, he carries that weight extraordinarily well for a man of that size, too. I mean, they said he's about, what, 25% body fat, but they said for a guy that size, that's what you need to be. But he is an incredible mountain of a man.
Yeah, John Detman, the strength coach, telling me earlier this week that Gibson could not come in any lighter than what he's at right now at, 388 pounds. And he has a specially made helmet, too. You could cook some lobsters in that thing, huh?
You know, most tackles, though, have big heads and big hands. That's something I've seen with tackles over the years, but not that big.
3rd down and 1. 9th play of the Badger drive. Martin and Dayne, and it's Dayne. And Dayne bounced off a tackler and fell forward to the 29-yard line. And it looks to be enough for a 1st down.
Get a good look. Ron Dayne. One thing that's, we saw him convert 2 third downs so far in this drive. Last week he had 52 yards after initial contact. Now this may not be that meaningful. It's only a 1-yard run, but he ran through that tackle deep in the backfield and got the 1st down. That's a lot of power in those legs.
And a lot of speed, too. He runs a 4.5 40. 1st and 10 with 6 minutes to go in the 1st half. Play fake. Dayne open. Nice open field tackling that time by Brian Miller, number 34.
Good discipline by Jerry Sandusky's defense. This is a great play all around. You run the football with Dayne. You try and hit the big play downfield off the play action. Penn State was buying nothing of it, but Samuel was cool enough to go to his layoff receiver and get him in the flat, get a positive gain. So both sides played real well on that play.
And John, maybe more importantly for Wisconsin, Samuel seems to have settled down after throwing that interception.
And when you can hand it off to Dayne most of the time, it helps.
And that's exactly what he does. Dayne is the truth. He is the truth, Ruth. Down to the 18-yard line. Kim Herring and Fornattle making the tackle. And it's a 1st down, and the fans love Ron Dayne.
Get an idea, the quick feet, once he makes up his mind, it's all over. Shoulders square, straight ahead, here I go. Ron Dayne actually could have been a little bit lower there when Kim Herring put the hit on him. But he has some pretty good numbers so far today. 9 for 31, 3.4 average. But remember, a couple carries in short yardage situation where 1 yard was very meaningful.
A sledgehammer with speed. Like the 9 train coming down the tracks. And here he is again. Dayne punishing Penn State, making his way down to the 11-yard line. A pickup of close to 7 on the play. Herring and Filardi making the tackle.
They have a great tradition of 1,000-yard rushers here over the years. Terrell Fletcher, Brent Moss, there they are there. Carl McCullough. When these 2 guys were playing, they wanted this guy in here. Now that he is the leading man, they want number 3 in there. And that's Rob Dayne, the number 3 man on that depth chart.
Dayne with a good lather going, and he's going to put some sweat on Penn State. 1st down for Ron Dayne and Wisconsin at the 7-yard line. Filardi making the tackle. And keep in mind, this is just a true freshman. Just 18 years old. His teammates call him quiet, intense, but respectful. And look at those impressive digits.
And this whole drive is on this young man's shoulders. 10 rushes, 42 yards. He's a little tired here, but this is where a young man sucks it up. And for his team and for the fans, tries to get the football in the end zone.
1st and goal. Dayne gets the call again. Ron Dayne is making it happen. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Look at the power of that young man. I mean, that drive was all Ron Dayne. That makes that offensive line that much better at blocking, but more importantly, it has a wearing down effect on this defense for Penn State.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they look like defensively, Penn State, in the third and fourth quarter. Let's go to John Saunders in New York with an update on Michigan. Today, moments ago, and if you don't know, ask Ron Dayne about it. John Hall may have kicked that one through the uprights.
You know, he kicked the ball from his own 20-yard line after a penalty against UNLV, and it went through the end zone. He's got quite a leg.
Yeah, the team was so psyched up, they got a celebration penalty in the end zone. Folks, next Saturday, live at 3:30 Eastern, we have a great lineup of college football games. Regional action, Penn State takes on Ohio State. 8th-ranked Nebraska battles Big 12 rival Kansas State. Cal meets USC. That's the game we'll be doing. Georgia Tech hosts Virginia. Check your local listings for the game on your ABC station and your cable operator for the games on pay-per-view. Let's see if Wally Richardson and Penn State can answer. They lead 17-10 with 3:44 remaining in the half. Enis brought down by Brian Jurwitz out of Deerfield, Illinois.
It's a 23rd straight start for Jurwitz. We haven't heard him so far today, but he likes to make penetration on that defense.
We talked about John Hall putting Penn State on the 20. Here's what did it, John.
It's an excellent kick. Look at that. That field goes up, and it's good. From how far? 75 yards, right? 35 plus 10?
With no wind, we might add.
You're the numerologist. You should tell me.
Wisconsin with a huge lead in the time of possession, but trailing on the board. Richardson poised. A picture of poise, completing the pass out to the 28-yard line.
Good play to Slode. Very good. That fullback, you know, he went through that flexibility program in the offseason, allowed him to be more fluid in catching the football. And believe me, he is the blocker. Harris is trying to become a blocker. Enis will block when asked to. Slode is the blocker in that backfield. And every good tailback needs a guy like Slode in front of him.
Slode unheralded in what he does. 3rd down and 1 for Penn State. Trying to put a silencer on this crowd. Enis, I don't think he got it.
I don't either. That's Pete Monty. He came up and made the stop. He's the leading tackler on this team.
Monty with some help from Brian Flanagan, number 55 on the play.
This defense got its excitement back in the football game right from that offensive drive. You can see the surge up front. You see the penetration by that defense. That's, again, Jurwitz, 85, getting a hit through, and Monty comes through with his quickness. Nice into the hole and makes the play.
Monty with 26 consecutive starts. Darrell Kenya punting from his own 20. A high spiral back to Tim Rosga. Breaks 2 tackles and brought down at the 34-yard line. And this crowd at Camp Randall senses something happening. Let's check in with John Saunders about what's coming up at halftime. John? And, John, our partner in the studio, with an eye on his former school, Penn State. Todd Blackledge. Stecker now the lone back for Wisconsin. And he catches it. Stecker, now the 3rd man in that tailback rotation, out to the 39. And it's a primetime battle, folks. An out-of-conference rivalry is settled on the field as the Longhorns of Texas travel to Charlottesville to take on Virginia at the President's School. Live college football tonight at 7:30 Eastern, only on ESPN.
And remember that game last year down there in Texas and Austin, won by a field goal in the closing seconds by Texas. That's a great matchup, those two teams. Texas, of course, coming off the loss, the heartbreaking loss to Notre Dame last week.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. 1:18 remaining in the first half. Hayes in motion. Hayes with the catch, brought down immediately at the 37-yard line by Shino Prater, number 1.
Yeah, Shino Prater. You know, these are hard throws to throw against this defense. Samuel's going to call a timeout. I mean, these corners are up against the line and they're pressing. A couple of times Wisconsin tried to go deep, and they haven't been able to, but it's very hard to throw the football short against Penn State.
Wisconsin with the timeout on the play. Let's check in with some other shows coming up on ABC. Camp Randall, Mark Jones, John Spagnola, and Dean Blevins in the house on an absolutely gorgeous Saturday afternoon for college football. It's 17-10, Penn State leading Wisconsin. 2 undefeated teams clashing on the gridiron. Penn State at 4-0, Wisconsin at 3-0, and this is the conference opener for both squads. Enis with a couple of touchdowns for Penn State if you're just joining us. And they blitz. Samuel is brought down at the 29-yard line. Somebody has to keep an eye on number 6.
Absolutely. It's a spread-out formation. There's no tight end. There's only one back in the backfield. And Aaron Collins going to come right through on the left side here. Once again, untouched. The back goes to the right. Somebody has to look. And Samuel, of course, got to look backside to the left side and get rid of the football to his receivers. But I didn't see any receivers changing their routes when they saw that blitz. That's simply a case where the defense has more numbers than the offense.
Let's check in with John Saunders in New York.
You know, that was the #1 defense in the country in terms of points against North Carolina. So they've given up some points here today, and so has Penn State.
A formidable opponent at Doak Walker Stadium down there. And you know that Mac Brown's team is looking forward to playing well. So far trailing. John Hall back into punt now for Barry Alvarez. And back deep is Chris Campbell for Penn State. .44 seconds remaining in the first half. Hall gets up a high kick. Takes a Penn State bounce. And it'll be down at about the 40-yard line. So with 33 seconds to go, John, good field position if you're Penn State.
And a full complement of timeouts. They have all 3 remaining. So they're in good position to run their 2-minute offense. There's Paterno giving some last-minute instructions to Wally Richardson as he sends him into the game. But I fully expect them to operate their 2-minute offense.
Brett Conway has a very strong leg should they get in field goal range. Look at Coach Kevin Cosgrove, the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin. Pensive on the sidelines. Backs out of the eye on 1st and 10. The give is up the middle that time to Enis. Brought down at the 45-yard line, and a timeout down in the field. David Lysick making the tackle, number 57 for Wisconsin. 25 seconds to play now in the first half. The Nittany Lions burning one of their timeouts. They now have 2 timeouts remaining. Enis gaining close to 4 yards on the play, setting up a 2nd and 6. Curtis Enis, John, setting the tone in this ball game for Penn State offensively with 2 touchdowns.
I think so. You know, he's definitely their go-to guy. Aaron Harris is not far behind, but Enis, the way he just burst on the scene in the opening day in the kickoff classic against USC, I think notified the entire nation about how good of a football player he is. I'm surprised here, though, Mark, with Penn State. You know, they have the ball 31 seconds. They run a play. They chew off 6 seconds off the clock. You know, they only pick up 5 yards. They need to get the ball in field goal position. Maybe they expected Enis to burst something against a prevent defense. But I think that, you know, they have to put the ball up in the air here if they want to try and get some points before the half.
Barry Alvarez quickly becoming a candidate for a Hair Club for Men. Huh? Rubbing that stuff. 25 seconds to play in the first half. 2nd down, Richardson complete. A 1st down for the Nittany Lions, stopping the clock as they move the sticks. That was Enis making the reception for the Nittany Lions. 20 seconds remaining in the first half.
Well, he came into the game with 5 receptions. He has very good hands. They like to split him out wide. He's comfortable out there in a wide receiver position, and that's where he heads out again. Back to the top of the right side of the formation is Curtis Enis.
Richardson, a flanker screen, good kickoff block. Enis has about 8 on the play, stopping the clock 2 yards short of the first down. Pete Monty making the tackle, the team captain for Wisconsin. They do a lot of different things with Curtis Enis offensively.
Brian Jurowitz disrupts this play. Watch 85 at the top of your screen on the right side. He sees the play, gets his hands up in the air, and Richards says, okay, I got to do this double pump to get the ball to him. So that play probably could have gone for a lot more had Jurowitz not read the play.
An impressive first half for Richardson. Jurevicius, first down at the 20. Nice throw by Richardson. 8 seconds to go. Penn State proving to be curators of the clock. Lamar Campbell, a.k.a. Soup, on the tackle.
Excellent job by the offensive line. Richardson had nobody in his face whatsoever. He took all the time in the world, watched Jurevicius the entire way, never took his eyes off him at all, and delivered a strike. But watch how long he has. See, he just waits, and then lets it go.
8 seconds to play in the half. Richardson complete to Nastasi at the 10-yard line, and it stops the clock with 3 seconds to go. So Joe Pa's crew moving the ball down the field from the 40 well into field goal range for Brett Conway.
It's a good drive by Penn State. Sets them up, take a 10-point lead here at halftime. I think they probably could have gone for a little bit more on first down, but certainly getting some positive points coming into the half. You know, they're real happy. And Joe Paterno talked about this, the adversity factor on the road. He said, I'm anxious to see what kind of team this is. He loves this football team. They're Hicks kind of guys. Seniors who have waited behind real good players over the years, getting their first chance to start. A lot of players, you know, that he relates to as a head coach. But he said, I don't know how good we are until we face adversity, and we need to face adversity.
And speaking of adversity, someone facing a little bit right now, we'd like to send some get-well wishes out to Miss Ethel Belton, who is in New York recuperating from surgery. Ethel, get well soon. We know you're a big college football fan. Keep watching the game. And I'll be waiting for my black-eyed peas and turkey sometime soon.
And your son Kim's doing a great job as our producer today.
A field goal now coming from the toe of Brett Conway. Out of the hold of Nastasi from 28 yards out. And it's on the money. And a propitious way to end the first half for the Penn State Nittany Lions, who have never, ever defeated Wisconsin. They are 3-0 lifetime against the Badgers, but trying to change the story today. Valvoline halftime coming up next. It's 20-10 Wisconsin, as Penn State finding it very livable right now. They lead 20-10. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Jones in the house. John Spagnola, Dean Blevins on the sideline. Penn State finding it livable. One of the things that Wisconsin talked about was tackling number 39. It was tough early in the game.
Curtis Enis played well. He scored 2 touchdowns early in the game. I think the key so far, though, is the turnover that Mike Samuel had. But here's Enis going off the left side. Behind Ostrowski, 64, and his 2 backs, 15 slowed, and Harris, 25, help him get into the end zone.
Then the people's choice came in for Wisconsin, the freshman Ron Dayne.
That's right. No Dayne, no gain. 14 plays, 11 of those plays in that drive were Dayne carrying the football.
And that was a critical 3rd down conversion. And this is the 6-yard touchdown run by Ron Dayne, running nicely between the tackles. And Dean Blevins had a chance to talk with Coach Alvarez at halftime.
Coach Dayne comes in, you get the crowd on, just get some momentum, and then Penn State comes back for the 3-pointer. Where are you?
Well, we've got to regroup defensively. We gave them some easy throws right here into the boundary, but we're doing some good things offensively. We just got to get some momentum and try to get a turnover ourselves. That turnover down there was a big one that they got.
Good luck, Barry.
All right, thank you.
That, of course, was the key interception, Brian Miller, right there, that Alvarez talked about. And We're ready to start the second half, Mark.
John Hall kicking off and drills it through the back of the end zone. Penn State will start off on its own 20-yard line. Wally Richardson has been a picture of precision during the first 30 minutes of this ball game. He has been on the money. He has shown a lot of poise and leadership.
And I think what's helped him so far is he's had excellent protection so far today. The game, of course, going Penn State's way. The key right now is the 7 points right there off of turnovers, and that's what has hurt Wisconsin in this football game. But they started to get a little life, especially when Dayne entered the football game, and we'll see what they can do in the second half.
Keep in mind, Penn State has never defeated Wisconsin. This would be a first. Richardson complete to the tight end. As Penn State finding it very livable right now, they lead 20-10. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Jones in the house. John Spagnola, Dean Blevins on the sideline. Penn State finding it livable. One of the things that Wisconsin talked about was tackling number 39. It was tough early in the game.
Curtis Enis played well. He scored 2 touchdowns early in the game. I think the key so far, though, is the turnover that Mike Samuel had. But here's Enis going off the left side. Behind us, Ostrowski, 64, and his 2 backs, 15 slowed, and Harris, 25, help him get into the end zone.
Then the people's choice came in for Wisconsin, the freshman, Ron Dayne.
That's right. No Dayne, no gain. 14 plays, 11 of those plays in that drive were Dayne carrying the football.
And that was a critical 3rd down conversion. And this is the 6-yard touchdown run by Ron Dayne, running nicely between the tackles. And Dean Blevins had a chance to talk with Coach Alvarez at halftime.
Coach Dayne comes in, you get the crowd on, you get some momentum, and then Penn State comes back for the 3-pointer. Where are you?
Well, we've got to regroup defensively. We gave them some easy throws right here into the boundary, but we're doing some good things offensively. We just got to get some momentum and try to get a turnover ourselves. That turnover down there was a big one that they got.
Good luck, Barry.
All right, thank you.
That, of course, was the key interception, Brian Miller, right there, that Alvarez talked about. And we're ready to start the second half, Mark.
John Hall kicking off and drills it through the back of the end zone. Penn State will start off on its own 20-yard line. Wally Richardson has been a picture of precision during the first 30 minutes of this ball game. He has been on the money. He has shown a lot of poise and leadership.
And I think what's helped him so far is he's had excellent protection so far today. The game, of course, going Penn State's way. The key right now is the 7 points right there off of turnovers, and that's what has hurt Wisconsin in this football game. But they started to get a little life, especially when Dayne entered the football game, and we'll see what they can do in the second half.
Keep in mind, Penn State has never defeated Wisconsin. This would be a first. Richardson complete to the tight end, Cuncho Brown, who's near the first down at the 30-yard line. I mentioned that Wisconsin has defeated Penn State on every opportunity throughout the team's histories. Well, they've only played 3 times. This is their 4th meeting. Brown with a gain of 9 on first down. It'll be 2nd down and short. Richardson now 11 of 15 on the afternoon. Backside of the eye. Nastasi in motion to the top of your screen. Enis, first down and then some. There's the Penn State Nittany Lion battering ram. We talked about Ron Dayne. Well, Curtis Enis is no lightweight either. Lysick and Weems making the tackle that time.
You know, he had a full head of steam. Lysick did a great job. The kid out of Bethlehem Catholic High School came right in and stuffed him, even though he had a full head of steam going. That's not something a lot of people enjoy doing.
Not what you'd want to do on a typical Saturday afternoon, given the choice.
You'd like to hang out and watch other people do it.
Yeah, sure. 1st and 10 for Penn State. Pro set in the backfield. Nice play fake. Richardson wide open to the tight end, Olsemer. That is what you call execution. Olsemer, the senior, 6'4", 250 pounds, picking up 19 yards that time, John.
And he had to wait patiently. He's going to come around the left side here and get all the way open. There goes 87. Olsemer waited patiently for his turn to play here. Cameraman even got fooled with that play-action play. Good job by Olsemer. He had to wait behind Kyle Brady. Troy Drayton, some very good tight ends here. You see, credits Brady with making him a tough football player, just watching him play football.
And the good players just keep on coming. Speaking of good players, that was Enis. Tackled by Lysick again. Lysick, number 57 for Wisconsin, the linebacker you talked about from Bethlehem, PA. There he is. A bit of a loose cannon. The ponytail is gone this year at Kevin Cosgrove's request, the defensive coordinator, but he's still a, well, wired type of guy, shall we say.
He's a little out there, that's for sure. I guess all those people from Bethlehem are.
He went to your high school, didn't he?
Yes, he did. That's why I said that. You know what? I think he does a lot of things tongue-in-cheek, too.
Richardson brought down on the 48, but there's a flag on the play. McClusick and Carter making the sack.
Carter came in through the outside, doing what Aaron Collins has done so well. And there's a face mask now against the Badgers. So they get a big play from their defense. And there had to be some face mask. Watch Wally Richardson, the quarterback. The rush is on. He's just trying to get rid of the football. And right there, McClusick, 94, gets his right hand on Richardson. Now he lets go. It might be the 5-yard variety. No, they're tacking on. Well, actually, it's from the line of scrimmage. So it is the 5-yard variety. It's not the personal foul, automatic first down. But still, there's about a 15 or 10-yard swing there from where the sack was.
Not what Barry Alvarez had in mind. They did have great pressure on that play.
Yeah, finally you break through and you give that up. That really hurts your defense.
And we still have not heard much from Tarek Saleh this afternoon. Just underway in the third period, Penn State leading 20-10. Enis brought down by number 45, just guard Bernard. He's from the Boogie Down Bronx. The first-year starter, 6 feet, 187-pound senior, with a nice play coming up and supporting from a strong safety spot.
Well, you may have not have heard of Saleh on that particular play, but he played his position really well before Bernard came over and made the tackle. He's the guy who stayed at home and didn't fight on that action away from him.
That brings up 3rd down and 3 on Penn State's initial possession of the second half. Pressure coming, and it's incomplete. He tried to hit Concho Brown, his tight end. Not sure whether that was supposed to be a tight end screen. Saleh applying some pressure that time.
Yeah, Saleh again, we saw it before. He's working on Anderson, 66. Anderson has a problem with turf toe. This time he uses the inside move. Beat him on the outside before. This time he came underneath. And that was a design screenplay to Enis. Man coverage, pressure, none of it worked. And this is why Penn State is punting.
Saleh blowing it up that time in the backfield. Darrell Kania standing on his own 46. Jim Rosga standing back for Wisconsin. Not a great punt that time. It comes down to the 25-yard line. A 16-yard punt. Time for the Red to fire it up when we come back. Back in Madison, Wisconsin, the Badgers with the ball on their own 25-yard line. Just under 12 minutes to play in the third period. Lots of interesting things on the field today. Interesting elements, different storylines. Quarterback Mike Samuel is one of them. Ron Dayne is another, the freshman tailback, who gets the call on 1st and 10. Dayne stopped up after a gain of about 2 at the 27-yard line. We are in the dairy capital of the country. A lot of great places around here to get some ice cream, as well as great cheese. Coaches on the respective sidelines battling not only with their respective football teams, but with some other, and in some other different ways, interesting ways. Dean Blevins will be telling us about that shortly. Lyles in motion on 2nd down. Dayne brought down at the 28-yard line. Dean Blevins, what's the flavor du jour?
Well, Peachy Paterno has been hot, as I understand it, at Penn State. But to get back at them, a local dairy here has put together a concoction. They call it Barry Alvarez, B-E-R-R-Y, and I understand it's pretty good. It's got some raspberry, and we gave it a taste, and it's not that low-fat yogurt, I can tell you that.
Dean, we're not interested in low-fat. Send some up here.
You should be Mark Ism.
You can get to that
looks
Dayne,
delicious.
before that melts. You could finish that thing off. There you go. Look at him.
Oh, yeah. The taste test.
Awesome.
We'll be getting a phone-in poll soon on the results. Samuel got it away just in time. He didn't like that flavor. Number 93, Brandon Noble, and Brandon Short applying the pressure to the Wisconsin quarterback.
Brandon Noble right up the middle, number 93. He was so quick we didn't even pick him up there. Came right through up the middle. That pressure up the middle is one thing a quarterback just cannot feel. And he got there and disrupted that entire play.
A good defensive sequence, John, for the Nittany Lion defense. John Hall punting. This is Kim Herring at the 31-yard line. He gets to the perimeter. Herring ran about 35 yards.
Herring on the return.
And
brought
gained,
down by John Hall.
oh, about 10 on the return. It's a Nittany Lion day so far when we come back. College football and ABC Sports brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. And Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. I'm Mark Jones, along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins in the house in America's most livable city on the banks of Lake Mendota and Lake Monona. A beautiful isthmus it is. Lots of interesting things to do in Madison. Right now, they might be making a little bit of noise down at Bullwinkle's, trying to rev up their team. Enis brought down at midfield at the 50-yard line, tackled by Bob Adamov.
Bob Adamov on the tackle.
It'll be second down, about 8 to go for Penn State. Curtis Enis with a pair of touchdowns already this afternoon.
82 on the play, second and 8.
Second down and 8. Play fake by Richardson. Jervicius again with a nice catch at the 35-yard line. Joe Jervicius. He was working on Lamar Campbell, and he undressed him.
And they call him Soup Campbell, but that time he was way off the football. Jervicius had all the opportunity to push him deep and then come back to the football.
36-yard line.
Jervicius came into today and this season wanting to be the go-to guy, playing behind Freddie Scott, Bobby Ingram, and he's having himself a great day so far today.
That sure is. 9:20 remaining in the third quarter. Enis between the tackles, spinning like a top down to the 26, near a first down. Actually, they're going to say his knee touch to the 27-yard line. Kevin Huntley from Fremont, Ohio, making the tackle.
Well, that's an excellent surge by that offensive line. Once again, right up the middle. And Enis can do everything as a running back. Run tough inside, break outside, catch the football, and he's only a sophomore. That's scary.
All the talk, John, has been about that Wisconsin offensive line and their size. Don't think for a minute that Penn State's offensive line doesn't want to prove something this afternoon. Enis again, first down and then some. The meter is running for Curtis Enis. He brings it down to the 20-yard line of the Badgers before finally being tackled by Pete Monty. Curtis Enis, the health freak. Hey, if granola works, I'll try it. 16 rushes, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns, an average of 4.2 on the day.
He came into the game averaging almost 7 yards a carry, so Wisconsin's contained him somewhat, but it seems to here that he's really starting to get his legs and push this pile.
That time keeping the legs driving, but brought down by number 29, Bob Adamov and Pete Monty. Gain of about 2 on the play by number 39, Curtis Enis. That Wisconsin secondary, the subject and focus of a lot of criticism over the last year and a half. Just under 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. Penn State looking for a career win at number 700 in their storied rich history. Second and 9. Enis down to the 16-yard line, tackled by Pete Monty, the Butkus Award nominee, the top tackler against UNLV 2 games ago. and against Stanford last week.
You know, here's a guy that just doesn't get a lot of publicity. Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern does. Jared Irons at Michigan does. Monty is every bit as good as all of them. I talked to Joe Paterno about him. He said, you know, the reason he doesn't get the pub is he doesn't have that 4.5, 4.6 speed, and everybody is obsessed with the stopwatch. He just simply makes tackles. That's all you want out of your linebacker.
And most coaches will take that. 3rd and 6. The blitz. Shuffle pass complete. Harris still on his feet. Man.
Wow.
Number 25, that's Aaron Harris, even though he doesn't have a name on his back. Neither team eschewing names on the back of the uniforms. Both Penn State and Wisconsin, in an effort to provide the team concept, John, as opposed to the individual.
Just the way they've always done it, but it's not going to stop us one bit up here.
Now, we know who they are.
That's right.
Field goal now from 32 yards out. Conway, and they fake it. Oh. And it's a fumble. It's loose.
But it's not a first down.
Wisconsin will have possession. Aaron Harris recovered the fumble after the fake attempt, but Wisconsin will have possession.
Hey, if you remember the Michigan game last year, they ran a fake field goal with Nastasi holding the football and going for the first down, but the hit on Nastasi up the middle there jars that ball loose. Now, come on, Aaron, come on, there it is. But he doesn't get the first. I thought he actually might convert the first down that the ball went so far.
Kevin Cosgrove, the defensive coordinator, had his troops yelling fire on that play.
He did, and they defensed that very well. Give that field goal block team a lot of credit for being in position and not getting drawn in by the fake.
Joe Paterno gambling that time, and here's a guy who was sometimes criticized for being a little too conservative. Not quite.
Jay Hayes, the special teams coach for Wisconsin.
The 4th down fumble rule was in effect. The ball carrier is the only person that can advance the ball when fumbled on 4th down. When the ball was picked up by the offense, it was dead at that spot. First down, Wisconsin.
Now you know the call.
That's right. So where Nastasi put the ball down is as far as it could go. And that, of course, is the 4th down fumble rule. So once that ball came out, there was no way Penn State could get the first down.
And, John, interesting to note now that Carl McCullough is now the lead tailback for Wisconsin. Samuel's going to throw.
His arm got hit.
Yeah, his arm got tapped, and it went high. Matt Fernattle applying the pressure on the play, number 99 for Penn State.
Yeah, they got to give Mike Samuel just a little bit more time. Fernattle got through that time. He's had a couple opportunities with players open. He hasn't been able to get the football to him. Watch number 99 come through, get that hand up in the air just at the last second. See his outstretched arm. Working on Manny Castro, and he just tips the football with his left hand.
Just goes to show you, John, size is not everything if you've got quickness. Mod Merritt in motion. Naked bootleg. Martin again on one of their favorite plays this afternoon. The big bruiser from Evanston, Illinois, who has his mother in attendance this afternoon, makes the catch and runs it out and runs the 1-yard line. 1-yard line.
You know, this secondary for Penn State has been playing very disciplined defense all year. These are the experienced guys. Most of them coming back had been starters last year. The longest pass play they've given up so far today is 11 yards. And that means they're not playing and getting caught up by the play-action fakes. Jerry Sandusky's got to be real pleased with the discipline they showed so far in today's game. They want Wisconsin to earn every single yard they're going to get.
And they've made them work hard so far, John. 6:02 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Hayes gets hit, but hangs on at the 29-yard line, and that's a first down for the Badgers. Brian Miller made the hit. And, you know, when you talk about hate, here's a guy who last week caught a touchdown pass from Samuel and really got hit hard, but he held on to the ball. We spoke to him in practice a few days ago. Number 84 told us that, hey, it wasn't nothing but a thing. He just, you know, shook the paint off.
Big game last week. 7 catches, 90 yards, and that touchdown you mentioned. He did take quite a hit.
McCullough picking his spot. out to the 33-yard line. McCullough, the team's leading rusher coming into the game. We talked about all the great things to do in Madison, Wisconsin. It is the #1 most livable city, according to a recent publication. Out of 300 cities in America, Ann Arbor, Michigan, where Michigan is, Gainesville, and where's State College? Number 134.
A little bit up above the middle there. Those are all college towns there. And we've been to a lot of those places and have enjoyed every one.
Great restaurants in both. Collins brings down Samuel again. Where have we seen that one before? He is the most gifted physically and athletically of that linebacking core for Penn State. Good in coverage, good in pass rushing, and good for the sack on that play on Mike Samuel.
You know, he's had 3 opportunities so far today to make plays, and every time he's not been blocked. Number 6 right here, he's coming through. And there it is. Once again, you have to account for number 6 in this defense. Now he plays that drop linebacker and goes out, but you have to account for where he is, either wide receivers or backs or somebody. But I know one thing, Samuel can't account for him.
3rd and 11. Complete to the wide side of the field, but far short of the first down. And this Penn State defense is revved up. Their engine is running full throttle. Mark Tate wasn't late. He put the hit on Ahmad Merritt, and it'll be time to punt once again for Wisconsin with just under 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter.
That's a big stand for the Nittany Lions, especially after the way in which the Badgers got the football. You can feel a little momentum shift. The defense and Jerry Sandusky in that scheme said no way, and they shut down the Badgers.
John Hall punting out of the shadows and into the sun. He's standing on his own 20. Chris Campbell back deep for Penn State. Calling for the fair catch at the 26-yard line. Time for Wally to go to work. We'll be right back. Ball on ABC Sports brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. And Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. And Monday, that golf cart, air-conditioned golf cart driving, must be the money, music video making, do-rag wearing Deion Sanders and the Dallas Cowboys take on their rivals in the AFC East at 9 Eastern time. Dallas and Philadelphia.
And believe me, the people in Philadelphia can't wait for 9 o'clock Monday evening to come around.
What was it?
A little revenge on the mind.
What was it that Barry said after that playoff loss?
I don't think I can say it. This is a family show, isn't it? But believe me, they haven't forgotten that in Philadelphia.
Over 79,000 people in attendance at Camp Randall. One of the top places to watch a game, and this is a good one. 3.5 to play in the 3rd quarter, and that's Curtis Enis, the wrecking ball for Penn State, running it out to the 32-yard line, brought down by Lysick and Bernard.
As Franny Gander sending the play in, using his players, he's been an assistant coach for a long time with Joe Paterno. He gets the plays. Joe's aware of what's going on, but Franny calls most of them, and occasionally they differ on a play here or there, but they've been working together an awfully long time together.
Now, 6 of Joe's coaches have been with him for 9 years or more. 2nd and 5. Harris brought down in the backfield. Monty McCluzak gang tackling Harris. It'll be 3rd down and about 7 to go for Penn State.
Penn State tried to run the tackle trap again. Number 71, Pete Marzik, you'll see him pulling. There he is, 71 from the left side. Again, they come underneath, but Monty read the play. He's a very smart football player, 48. Came right through, so that's a big stop for Wisconsin.
And a big opportunity here for the defense, facing 3rd and 6. Enis is split out as a receiver. Incomplete, intended for Enis. And the Badger defense was unyielding and undaunting on that series.
And I think Brian Jurwitz got his hand again on the football, or on the arm of Wally Richardson, big number 85. Good job by that defense. Rod Spiller running off the field. Joe Paterno lecturing his young man on where he thought he could have gone with the football. But a lot of defense so far here to start the second half, Mark.
Got John into punt now. Daryl Kenya. Rosga standing on his 25. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be a clip. This one will be brought back. Penn State entering a very tough stretch right now for them with respect to their schedule. Wisconsin, meanwhile, has the week off. This one will come back. Have a look.
I think I saw number 88, Demetrius Brown, number 88, right there. I mean, that's as obvious as it gets. Got to lay off the guy. You can't do that.
What does the coaches say, John? If you can see his numbers in the back, don't touch him.
That's one thing I've heard of you. If you're going to clip, if you feel you're going to clip, don't. You know, so many other pearls of wisdom you can get from a coach.
We talked about Penn State's upcoming schedule and how tough it was. There's a visual look against Ohio State next week, a game you'll see on ABC. Then it's Purdue, Iowa, at Indiana, and everything builds to that one game against Michigan on November the 16th.
Ohio State gets to enjoy both of these teams. Penn State this week they entertain, and then the following week Wisconsin has a bye, and then they go and play Penn State again. And Ohio State with a big win so far, leading 29-16 over Notre Dame.
Busy day in the Big Ten. Ron Dayne back in at tailback. 3 wideouts for Wisconsin. Complete to Hayes. And he got hit big time by Brian Miller. That might put a bruise on you, but if it did, they'll have a week to heal because Wisconsin has the week off next week. Then they take on the Buckeyes in Columbus, a game you'll see on ABC.
One thing Barry Alvarez talked about with his conditioning program, 5 games in November. And that's why he didn't want his players to peak too early in the year. He felt they got worn down around the 6th or 7th game of last year, and he wants them to peak a little later. He said they're stronger now than they've been at any point this year.
And here's a strong one. That's the Dayne train. Come on and ride that train. Brought down finally by Sean Lee. But a huge pickup by the freshman from Pine Hill, New Jersey. 5-0, 50 yards on the run.
Manny Castro leads on this. He's a guard on the inside. They block down inside. Watch 68 pull. He's going to set a good block, sealing inside of Jim Nelson there. And boy, watch Payne just take it inside. 260 pounds, outrunning most of the secondary. Finally, Sean Lee has to drag him down. That's incredible. That kind of size, 260 pounds to run that fast.
And they call his number one more time. That time, 3 squared gets about 2.
You know, I mean, it seems like such a sleepy second half, doesn't it? And neither offensive team is moving all that well. Dayne with 16 rushes now, over 100 yards. And he just had to wait for something to happen. Dayne has provided that excitement for this team and for this entire stadium now.
And the fans very appreciative of his effort. And look at his teammate, Carl McCullough, the guy who he might supplant sometime soon as the starter.
And he's all class, Carl McCullough. He's been through this before, being the people's choice when he's backing people up, and he's been a real supporter of Dayne.
That's how you spell team. There's no I in team. Carl McCullough, you know, they called for him, John, as you mentioned, when Brent Moss was the starter and Terrell Fletcher. People wanted number 13. Well, now they want to see number 33. So McCullough's been there.
He's been there, but by no means is there not a role for him on this football team. It's a 5-yard penalty against Wisconsin. The thing is, they only want these backs to carry the ball about 15 times. McCullough averaged about 30 yards, 30 carries per game last year, and really got beat up by the end of the season. Barry Alvarez would much rather have 3 fresh backs throughout the course of the game.
Well, time has expired in the 3rd quarter, and quarterback Mike Samuel is thinking about the one coming up. We'll return with more action between Penn State and Wisconsin after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Regional action on ABC's college football. 3:30 Eastern time is the start time. Penn State, Ohio State, Nebraska, K-State. Cal against USC, and Virginia against Georgia Tech. Call your cable operator for the games available in your area. Right here, we are about to begin the 4th quarter of play. Number 33, Ron Dayne, has provided a few moments of excitement this afternoon, most recently on a 50-yard run. Wisconsin with the ball, 2nd and 14. Flanker screen. This is Hayes. Let's go to John Saunders with an update on Michigan. Best. 307. That wasn't a typo, huh?
Wow. That's
third best
season for most backs.
Oh, boy. Martin in motion. Stecker out of the backfield, and he put it on the ground. Penn State says they have it. The Nittany Lions recovering the fumble, courtesy of Brandon Noble, number 93.
And the Badger fans believe that ball had never been caught, that the Stecker never really had possession of the football.
Aaron Stecker got rocked. Not sure he had it.
No, it shouldn't have looked there like he did.
Mark Tate put the hurt on him big time.
And that was right on the Badger sidelines. Alvarez is incensed.
He doesn't want to hear any of it. Let's have another look at it.
Aaron Stecker out in the flat. Okay, here's the ball coming in low. First of all, it almost hits the ground. There is where they say he had possession of the football, but from the other angle, it seemed to me like he had never brought it in and had full possession of it.
Play fake, Richardson, incomplete for Concho Brown. My. That hit him right in the hands.
Now that's clearly no possession there.
But Wally Richardson might want to have a word with Concho coming back to the huddle. And if I'm the quarterback, number 14, I'm saying, you know, if you want me to keep coming to you, you better squeeze it next time.
That's right. Well, Concho Brown has a lot of promise, and as the season progresses, he's going to get a lot more playing time. But right there, he simply had to hold on to it before he had to head upfield running the football.
Brown out, Olsemer in. I'm Mark Jones along with John Spagnola and Dean Blevins. Just underway in the fourth quarter. Penn State trying to defeat Wisconsin for the first time in 4 tries. And they're going to get a little help from Curtis Enis, who runs it out to the 38-yard line, and Pete Monty tripped him up to make the tackle. Curtis Enis with a couple of touchdowns already today. Penn State leads 20-10. It's 3rd down and long as Wisconsin sends in its nickel package. Penn State has not converted its last 7 third down attempts.
Yep, good play. They were not ready on defense.
And Nastasi catches Wisconsin hitting the snooze bar. First down, Nittany Lions.
Penn State was at the line of scrimmage, and Wisconsin was still with their backs to the football in a huddle calling the play. They just got rid of the football quickly. It's a heads-up play. You can't allow an offense to convert first downs like that. Cosgrove very upset. There it is. Here they come to the ball. Look, you don't see Wisconsin anyway. Wally says, okay, hurry up, get down. Joe, get ready. I'm going to throw it to you. And he shoots it out there to Nastasia. Look, now the defense is breaking the huddle, playing defense.
Boy, you talk about room service. And there's another wide open receiver, the same guy, number 21, Joe Nastasi. He just needs playing time. That's all he needs to get better. He's got ability. He was brought down by Weems on the play, and Richardson has got a hot hand now. A 14-yard pickup, another Nittany Lion first down. The ball on the 39-yard line. And number 21 is red hot too. Enis over the left tackle and guard for a gain of about 3.
Brought down to number 58 is Jennings.
Let's go downstairs to Dean for an update on an injury.
Wisconsin got out of the first half with no injuries, but a couple of guys are hobbled now. Cornerback Jason Settle out of the game with a shoulder injury, may not return. Offensively, the outstanding wide receiver Tony Simmons, 82, still has that twisted ankle that he had from last week. Is it better? In fact, he's 90%, but he will stay in the game.
Simmons, the team's top receiver from a year ago, and a deep threat. They need him in the ballgame. Thanks, Dean. Enis up the middle. keeping that low center of gravity, John. You reminds you so much of Earl Campbell. We talked about that a few weeks ago when we saw Penn State against Louisville. Monty making the tackle.
He sure does. He keeps the legs churning. He gets real low. He punishes the tacklers. If two tacklers are coming, he's adept at splitting them. But, you know, he hasn't had the big breakout today. That's not a, that's not a bad job by him. Also, it's not a bad job by the Badger defense. This guy's averaging 145 yards a game.
Keeping him under his average so far. Nastasi in motion. The counter play. Enis hits the hole and falls down at the 30, short of the first down. Pete Monty has put in a yeoman performance today, and he gave Curtis Enis a little bit of love on that last one. Touched him, said, I like the way you run.
A little tough love.
Yeah, and Enis said, I like the way you tackle. They've never allowed a 100-yard game to Penn State and a running back there. A proud tradition here at Wisconsin.
But Enis is getting so closer, isn't he?
Barry's going to think things over, and we'll catch our breath. 20-10 when we return.
They have to seize on this momentum. This is the second time they've made plays on fourth down. Once on the fake field goal, and now here stopping Penn State.
A little play action out of the backfield. That's the big fella, Cecil Martin. Number 37, who's done well as a receiver and a blocker today. Mark Tate, number 33, making the tackle. Martin with 9 yards. And it'll be second down and 1. I've been impressed with the way he's caught the ball today, John.
Yes, he's done a real good job. Second and 1. They have to go up top. They have to go up top. Tony Simmons isn't in the game. He has 17 touchdowns in only 17 games. You've got to take a shot deep with your wide receivers.
They look to pass. That's Ron Dayne with the first down at the 41-yard line.
See, that was a pass play to gain but 2 yards. I mean, he converted the chains, but, I mean, you just have to take a shot downfield at some point.
Something they haven't been able to do today. There's Coach Hayes, the special teams coach for Wisconsin. Graduate of Idaho, played his ball there.
If he goes down, we got to try to jump over.
If he goes down, you got to try and jump up. That's good coaching right there.
We get some more chances to get some blitz on him. Go.
You hear the strategy from the brain trust on the sidelines. The option package. Dayne did a little juggling act and is brought down at the 43-yard line by Mark Tate. They ran the toss, the option, to the short side of the field.
Hey, Penn State's got some good team speed, though, don't they? They closed on that option. A lot of players converted. I thought there was some good opportunity for Dayne, and they just got shut down immediately.
Yeah, John, Joe Paterno has learned a lot about his defense, especially today. Shutting down Wisconsin with only 10 points so far, with 9:56 to play in the fourth quarter. Second down and 8 for Mike Samuel. Hayes! Oh, what a grab! He took the elevator to the top floor and brought it down. Aaron Collins made the tackle downfield. First down, Badgers.
And Brandon Short was right in the throat of Mike Samuel when he threw that football. You want to be a college quarterback? You want to come from Philadelphia and play here? Okay, Mike, I know your big brothers beat you up, but how's this feel? Actually, that was Chris Snyder. But I'll tell you what, this is a great play by the former basketball player who can leap high in the air, get it high to him, let him go get it. No foul on that play, no 2 shots, but he gets the first down. That's the biggest pass play of the day for Wisconsin.
Dick Bennett, unfortunately, will not have him playing hoops this winter. Little waggle, Samuel's going to take off himself. Makes a good career decision getting out of bounds. The Wisconsin players won a penalty on the play, but they're not going to get it from the official. Jim Nelson hit him out of bounds. Boy, if you're Barry Alvarez, you're really sweating on that play because you want to see your quarterback go down nice and soft.
Yeah, but he's got to get some help from his teammates. You got 3 guys running downfield 20 yards ahead of him. They can cut back and make some blocks for him. Watch the end of this play. Watch him. Now, he's got 2 or 3 guys. They can come back and make blocks. See him in the picture at the top? What are they doing up there? Help your quarterback out.
right? Oh, yeah, got one. It's called preservation of the species. 9:16 to play in the fourth quarter. And it's time to get aboard the D train. Ron Dayne. They're firing him up. Velarde making the tackle, and this is the time of the game when Ron Dayne thrives. He did it last week against Stanford. He proved it to those that didn't think he could get it done.
Yeah, he did it in the second quarter, too. Remember that 14-play drive? He carried the ball 11 times.
John, he's carried it 18 times now for a total of 112 yards. Dayne putting a little pain on the corner that time. Number 33, Mark Tate.
Hard to get lower than Dayne, isn't it? But Tate was able to do it there. 33 on 33.
You know, was working out in the Wisconsin weight room a couple of days ago and saw him doing some lateral pulls. You must have had close to 200 plus on the bar. And I wasn't about to go after him either, John. You know, it's like, Ron, you go ahead. I'll just come after sometime. A lot of strength on that package.
Feel pretty badly when you have to cut the weight in half, right? You do it yourself.
Samuel over the middle, complete to Hayes. If there's one thing Hayes can do, it's catch it in traffic. A native of Madison, Wisconsin, had 7 balls for 90 yards last week against Stanford. And he's played in 8 consecutive games with at least 1 catch. Make it 9 now. Herring made the tackle. As you look into the eyes of the quarterback.
Red zone defense. 31 to 32 times. One of those touchdowns in 96, you can see 2 of 7. One of those was today by Wisconsin. And they desperately need a touchdown here.
And they need a first down, too, John. 3rd down and 1. Who else? Think he got it.
Oh, yeah.
First down, Wisconsin. Ron Dayne over the left side of that huge offensive line. Jamie Vandervelt, number 65, and number 75, Chris McIntosh.
You know, he has some of the best 1 or 2 yard runs you can possibly see. Kim Herring had a clean shot at him. Watch number 3 come off the left side here. Clean shot, completely unblocked. Look at Dayne. Okay, see you later. Keeps the feet going and is able to get the first down. Good job up front. But when you got a clear shot at him in the backfield, he's a hard guy to bring down.
Yeah, John, the 10th play now of the Wisconsin drive. Dayne again. Touchdown, Wisconsin. You can call it a coming out party. You can call it an official coronation. Dayne is king, but they trail by 3.
Ron Dayne with his 2nd touchdown this afternoon ignites this crowd here. Wisconsin comes off the left side, and watch the power of this young man. 7 yards away, he gets hit for the first time, and it doesn't matter at all as he works his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
One more look at Ron Dayne of Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. He's got a little drama for your mama.
Look at those numbers on Dayne. 21 to 126, 6-yard average.
Wow. And John Hall, man, 8 yards deep. John Saunders, it is noisy here in Madison. What's up there? The margin here A very tenuous 3 points. Backside of the eye, Curtis Enis, the main man for Penn State. And he gains about 2.5 yards.
And here's where the defense feeds off the offense. The offense gets in the game. Dayne gets things going. This defense has played very well in the second half today. Not giving up any points. Making a key play on a 4th down fake field goal. Shutting down the Penn State offense in that 4th and 1. And they need to come up with the football now. And man, they have some adrenaline behind them.
Number 33 gave it to them intravenously. 2nd and long. Richardson incomplete. His arm was moving forward. Pete Monty put the hurt on him.
Monty with a great play coming through as a dogging linebacker. And Joe Paterno wanted adversity. Well, you know what? You've got it, Joe. You've got adversity now. And you'll see what kind of football team you have right now.
Those trifocals getting a little sweaty, huh? This place ripe with emotion right now. 3rd and 8 for Penn State. And they'll have to punt. Dean, it is emotional, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Can barely hear myself here. Certainly can't hear myself think, and I'm sure that's the case with Wally Richardson. The place has come alive. Dayne did it originally. Dayne was standing by us here a moment ago because he's only 5'9.5" and he can't see over. But he's the man of the hour right now, and the crowd is louder than I've ever heard it at this stadium.
Gerald Kenya Dean punting. Tim Rosga standing on his own 35. Oh, yeah. Fumble. But yeah. I'm not sure they gave him enough room to catch the ball.
You got to give him 2 yards.
Hold on a minute.
And that ball, I believe, almost hit the Penn State defender in the back.
Steve Payman, our official with the white hat, is going to let us know what the call is in just a few moments. 6:40 remaining in the ball game. Or let's make that the 4th quarter.
Yeah, the referees are talking about it, but that flag came out right away, Mark. And you could see where the punt returner, Rosca, didn't have enough time or didn't have. Got to give him 2 yards.
That's exactly what Barry Alvarez is contending.
I think it's Chris Campbell on coverage, if I'm not mistaken.
Still waiting to hear from the officials. And they're going to make sure that they get this one right.
I guess the question's going to be whether or not he was blocked in to Rosca.
A lot of consternation and apprehension on the Wisconsin sidelines, as well as the Penn State sidelines. Here's another look.
Ascari Adams, number 18, is coming down. He's getting blocked. And I think what they're ruling is whether or not he was blocked into Rosca. But the flag came out right away.
Gerald Filardi, the middle linebacker, meanwhile recovering a loose ball. And Wisconsin retains possession.
And that's Joe's contention. Hey, wait a second. My player got pushed into him. What are you talking about?
Kick catch interference. Kicking team. Violation of the 2-yard radius. 5 yards from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
You see, Joe, I told you like to box. His father was a boxer. He's throwing some jabs there.
That was a good right cross, too.
And he's trying to explain to the official, hey, he was pushed in to the ball carrier.
Wisconsin, 55 yards away from the end zone when we come back. On the banks of Lake Mendota on a sunny Saturday afternoon, Penn State with the ball, 5:47 remaining. They lead by 3, and a look at the top 25. Controversial, John. Arizona State at number 6. Nebraska.
North Carolina losing day, Ohio State winning. Those are big. Certainly the Big Ten is representative well so far. 3 teams in the top 10 right now for the Big Ten.
This is Penn State's worst starting field position of the day. Picked off. The Badgers have it at the 14.
That might have been McCluskey, was that? It was. He came all the way over from the defensive line position to get a hand on that juggling football.
Weems put the hit on the receiver, number 7.
I think that's Cuncho Brown. Now watch, he knocks the ball and keeps it loose long enough. McCluskey comes all the way over from the defensive line position. Holy jeez. You know, you saw Brandon Noble run over and hit a ball carry for Penn State. How about these defensive linemen today running all over the football field, making things happen?
And there's the man of the hour, number 94. McCluskey.
A little Dallas on the head.
Working with a short field. It's the kind of field that Ron Dayne likes. Dayne plunging to the 12-yard line. 5.5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter.
Right there. That's what it's all about. Oh, yeah, he got the pass up in here, Rube. He made it.
You got it. There's Weems.
He's a happy young man. I tell you, he did a good job of just keeping that ball out of the grip of Cuncho Brown. And Brown had trouble pulling it in. It wasn't his fault. It's just a great play by Weems.
Dayne is in the backfield, and he gets the call. Penn State anticipating at that time. Dayne gaining maybe a yard to the 11. Gained about 2. Filardi, the middle linebacker, the Mike linebacker, making the tackle. 4:44 remaining. A look at the turnover situation this afternoon. Each team with an interception. Wisconsin recovering a fumble.
Well, what's interesting here, of course, Mark, with now 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this football game, if Wisconsin doesn't get the game of football in the end zone, they'll kick a field goal, and we could be looking at overtime here.
And there's a look at John Hall. Wonder what he's thinking right now. He's the field goal kicker. Lyles in motion. 3rd and 7. Samuel. He wants to do it himself. And he didn't get it done. So the spotlight now and the pressure falls squarely on the shoulders of the place kicker, John Hall. Ron Dayne, though, with a nice effort and a good block on the play.
This very well could have been an all-out, just roll out by the quarterback. Dayne, 3rd and 33, gets a nice block for his quarterback. Back inside, he picks off Filardi. But watch here, all of a sudden that Penn State quickness shows itself because it looked like he had some room, and suddenly that defense closed on him.
Hall, John, is 1 for 1 today. He has a strong leg. This is a short one coming from about 25 yards out. Out of the hold of Tim Rosga. A sharp angle, but he knocks it through. We are tied at 20. So they convert the interception into 3. And Barry Alvarez is breathing a little easier right now. Quick finish coming up. Football on ABC Sports brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Marriott Hotels, Resorts and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. Domino's Pizza, who introduces their newest crust sensation, Aroma Herb Crust Pizza. And Discus Athletic Activewear. Discus Athletic, the one thing to wear for every sport. 3:22 remaining. We're tied at 20 apiece. Wisconsin converting on a Penn State interception just moments ago with a field goal of 25 yards. John Hall bounces it at the 5. And Campbell wants to return it. Campbell brought down at the 20-yard line. Joe Paterno has only been in 3 overtime games in his entire career, John.
Actually, he's had 3 tie games. This could be his first overtime game.
Exactly.
Overtime rule, there's no sudden death. The teams get equal possession. They both get the same opportunity to score. The offense begins at the 25-yard line, and if the score's tied after 1 overtime, they keep right on going until one team scores more than the other.
And we might want to mention that when we spoke with Coach Paterno, he's not an advocate of this new rule. He doesn't like the overtime rule. 1st and 10 from the 20. Enis trying to get to the perimeter, and he does. And he's got more. Well, more of what Penn State's looking for down to the 34-yard line. 1st down. They move the sticks. They stop the clock with 3:09 to play in the 4th quarter. Huntley making the tackle from his safety spot.
Yeah, if Huntley doesn't make that tackle, good blocking inside. Enis breaks it outside. Now watch this, though. If Huntley comes over and doesn't get the shoestring tackle, number 6 comes in at the last second. Makes that tackle. Curtis Enis is on his way down the sideline. This game's over.
Yeah, Huntley calls himself K-Smooth. He was smooth on that one. And Richardson is looking smooth as butter right there. Richardson completes the pass to the 27-yard line to Juravicius. That is smooth, too.
Juravicius is very lucky that both of his feet weren't out of bounds. That right foot hit first, and that left foot, he allowed that ball to drift him outside. Juravicius will move inside. Weems, who made the big play before, is just completely beaten. Now watch how he drifts and drifts. See, right foot, left foot is out of bounds already. Definitely a complete pass. There's no controversy there. That foot just gets down inside. But you see how he allowed that ball to let him drift? He's better off catching that ball over his outside shoulder, Mark.
That's a good point, John. Nonetheless, a 1st down at the 27-yard line. Richardson threw a strike when he had to. 2:48 to play in the 4th quarter. And they like Curtis Enis. Why not? Flag down at the 18-yard line. Enis down at the 18 as well. Might be a face mask, but we'll wait.
Good blocking up front. Cuncho Brown on Tarek Saleh. Saleh, you can see he's not that tall. He's looking to find the ball carrier. When he peeks inside, Cuncho Brown makes a good block on him. And there's the face mask by Huntley. So quickly, things are deteriorating for the Badger defense. They gave up the big play. Now they have a face mask, and Penn State is 1st down again. So, you know, I got to credit Penn State, though. They talk about adversity. You know, they came in a situation here. They called the big play for Wally Richardson as Enis goes over 100 yards with 109 mark. But, you know, they made Wally hit the big play, and they had confidence in him.
Yep. And the chemistry, seemingly, John, improving between Wally and his receivers. 1st and 10, 2:20 to play in the 4th quarter. Enis again. Good balance, falling down to the 10. Carter making the tackle on the play.
And you know, right now the strategy is use up the clock, let Enis pound it in there, and Wisconsin's got to make a decision on when they want to use timeouts. But Joe Paterno, you know, he hates this overtime rule so much, he's not going to let us go to overtime.
Joe wants to get on the bus and go home, man. 1:52 to play. Wisconsin allowing a Penn State rusher to go over 100 yards for the 1st time, courtesy of Curtis Enis. A look at the timeout situation. 1:42 to play. Enis again. Gets a block from Harris. Enis down to the 7-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 3 or 4 to go.
Yeah, Wisconsin burns a timeout there. They have to. That leaves them with 1 left in this game. Monty came over and made a great play. But it's a tough situation, you know. Penn State right now is dictating everything to Wisconsin. Running the football, using time, and putting themselves in a position to score. If they convert a 3rd down here, they're really in trouble defensively.
We saw the AP poll earlier. Top teams in the country. The coaches poll, a different story. Nebraska ranked ahead of Arizona State still, John.
Yeah, to me, that is the biggest joke in college football so far this year. And especially with the coaches voting. I mean, if you don't prove yourself on the field of battle and beat another team, when does it matter most? I think a lot of coaches just don't spend a lot of time with this poll. I think their sports information directors hand it to them and they fill it out. But that to me is ridiculous.
3 Big Ten teams in the top 10 in the coaches poll. Yeah, John, you do wonder if these guys have a dartboard at home and they're throwing darts in the dark, filling out their coaches poll votes.
Well, Barry Alvarez said he put Arizona State ahead of Nebraska, but he said, you know, frankly, I spent 5 minutes on it, and that's it. I got other things to do. And I think the coaches in the East Coast didn't see the game last week, but I saw that on Monday, and I could not believe my eyes that they actually did not rank Kansas State, who's 3-0. It wasn't as if they were 1-5 and it was a fluke game. They beat Nebraska soundly last week, as Todd Blackledge pointed out at halftime.
Arizona State really convincingly over Nebraska. Look at some Big 12 action right there. Colorado leading A&M. Right here is Big 10 time. 3rd and 4. They've got to get to the 3. Richardson on the naked bootleg into the end zone. Incomplete. And that was a dangerous throw. Broken up by number 6.
Case Smooth. Richardson did something that was very important on that play, and that was he got rid of the football with Jurowitz right in his face, and he threw it high enough. Look at the pressure from Jurowitz. If he takes the sack there, he's back to the 20-yard line. He throws it high enough. Huntley comes over and makes the play. When he let that go, he firmly believed that only Olsemer, the tight end, could get his hands on that football.
And in comes Brett Conway from 25 yards out. He's 2 for 2 today. This, the biggest kick of the season for Conway and Penn State. No problem. The Nittany Lions lead by 3 with 1:23 to play. We said Joe doesn't like overtime. He wants to get this thing over with. And he gets a hand and a little help from his place kicker, Brett Conway.
But that incompletion on 3rd down helped Wisconsin. They didn't have to use a timeout. And they get 1:23 on the clock when they get this return on the kickoff. Good drive by Penn State, though. 7 plays, 73 yards. Of course, the big play is the big reception by Jurevicius down the sideline. But at least Wisconsin has some time to operate and some clock to work with.
Yep. When you look at Penn State and Joe Paterno, you think that this game, John, has been a bit of an epiphany for Wally Richardson, the quarterback, and his receivers. They seem to be on the same page this afternoon.
Well, I think mostly Jurevicius. I think he's had trouble operating with Cuncho Brown. You know, he dropped one and he had that one batted away. That was just a better play by Weems than faulting Cuncho on that play, but he's had some other drops. But basically, Jurevicius is the guy he can count on in this offense.
Well, Joe Paul wanted adversity to learn about his team. He's learned a lot this afternoon. Conway with the kick. This is Stecker hesitating and now taking it out. You want to go north-south, not east-west. And he hesitated 2 yards deep in the end zone, burning some valuable time. 1:15 to play in the 4th quarter. And now it is time for the sophomore quarterback, number 10, Mike Samuel, making his 4th start as Wally Richardson has completed his task, holding on the return against Wisconsin. So they'll take it back some. There's a look at Samuel making his 4th start.
Receiving team, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Well, they talked about putting in a quick package for Mike Samuel. We'll see it right now.
This is going to be a difficult situation. That ball was at the 13. It goes back to the 6.5. Samuel's going to have to grow up awfully fast right here and now. And it's going to be interesting to see if Penn State, which has been able to shut down the passing game today, plays the same defense they've played, or if they try to play a prevent defense.
John, they line up with 3 receivers to the top of your screen. It's a trips right formation. McCullough is the lone back. Penn State blitzing on the play. Collins. And luckily, that was a receiver.
That's right.
That was Carl McCullough. But Aaron Collins was right up in Samuel's face.
Yeah, if it's not an eligible receiver, it's a safety. But he hit McCullough, and I think McCullough did the best thing by not catching that football.
Heads up thinking by number 13.
Well, Sandusky decides not to play the prevent. He brings Aaron Collins inside. It gets underneath McCullough in the first place, and that's what you call a lookout block. You miss the guy and you say, look out, quarterback, here he comes.
That's the last one Samuel wants to see. Collins blitzing again. This time, Samuel has lots of real estate. And he's near the first down at the 18-17 make that yard line. Time permitting, folks, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report with scores and highlights from across the country. Wisconsin with their quick game stuff in. Mike Samuel, the quarterback. McCullough coming off the field. Ron Dayne is in the ball game. Ron Dayne brought down nicely in the open field by who else? Aaron Collins. He's been ubiquitous today. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, it's a smart choice here to get rid of the timeout right now. If they get a first down, of course, you move the change and that stops the clock. But at some point here, Samuel's going to have to take a chance and get that football downfield. I think they really missed Tony Simmons in a position like this. A guy who came into the game with 61 career receptions, caught 1 for 6 today. But if you look at the passing numbers so far here today, Samuel as a quarterback has only averaged about 6 yards per completion.
Look at what's happening in the Big Ten today. Ohio State defeating Notre Dame. Michigan State winning convincingly. Purdue winning, Northwestern winning, and Michigan leading UCLA. Every game so critical, so paramount in the Big Ten Conference. No sleepers, no breathers. And this is the conference opener for both squads. Penn State trying to defeat Wisconsin for the first time in 4 tries, and right now they're in a good position to do it.
Everybody in Southern. I love y'all. Thanks for watching. We're gonna pull this one out.
Thank you, Wally.
And a good drive there, Wally.
49 seconds to play. Mike Samuel, 24 of 34, and 1 interception.
See that? That's only 6 yards of completion now.
Under pressure, out of bounds, incomplete. Stops the clock with 44 seconds to go. And Samuel gets up off the carpet limping. The intended receiver, number 17, Willie Austin.
Yeah, he got hit low in the leg. Matt Fornadell comes in, number 99, right there underneath. Now watch him catch him right down in the leg, and that knee buckles underneath him. Chris Snyder hits him up top.
That's not a soft carpet either. 3rd and 4. Samuel almost picked off in the air, incomplete.
Well, you got to respect this defense. They know where the first down markers are. They're not going to let Samuel get an easy first down with a quick completion of about 5 yards.
Barry Alvarez, too, has learned a lot about his team this afternoon. They fought, and they are now down to their last gasp effort. 4th down, 4 to go. Dayne still on his feet. He fumbles it. And Austin gets the fortuitous bounce to fall into his hands for Wisconsin. Stops the clock with 32 seconds to go. They move the chains. Brian Miller made the nice hit for Penn State. Now keep in mind, John Hall, the field goal kicker for Wisconsin, has kicked a 60-yard field goal.
And they said his leg is good enough from 70 in certain situations, Mark.
So they'd have to get down to the 40. Samuel running, tripped up at the 40-yard line.
Now he's got to get his offense on the team.
And Samuel is taking a beating. Wisconsin burns its last time out, and that's their last.
Boy, he's really hurting. I mean, he got hit before by Fornadell. Now he got crunched by a couple of guys, and that left shoulder looks like it's hanging there from that hit. Remember, Homer Smith said something that I thought was good advice for a quarterback. Run as if you don't have any shoulder pads. Right here, as Samuel runs through, he gets hit, and he lands on that shoulder, and that hurts. That's the kind of thing where that elbow hits the ground, and that shoulder pops up in the air. That could be a mild separation he has.
John, it's going to be tough getting him out of the game, though. I doubt that he wants to come out at this point. Regardless, a look at the Big Ten standings as of this moment. Michigan, Northwestern, and Michigan State all 1 up. Purdue, Indiana, and Illinois all one down. Zeros in the middle, but Penn State on the verge. Should they hold on to improving to 1-0 in the Big Ten? And it would be Joe Paterno's 700th, pardon me, the program's 700th career victory. Well, they say Philadelphia guys are tough, John. We'll see what Mike Samuel can do here. He's shown he's been tough already. But they need one more play from him. Samuel has a man complete to Merritt. And he's brought down to the 40 with 13 seconds to go.
All right, the clock will stop here. He'll probably set up and down the football immediately. Let's see how well they execute this.
A 20-yard pickup. And they ground it.
Okay. Good job. Good job. They ran 3 receivers on the right side and brought Merritt underneath. It's a little different look than they've shown all day today.
John Hall has kicked a school record 60-yard field goal in his collegiate history. He kicked it last year against Minnesota. He's number 14. He should have his shot. There he is. All summer he worked hard, arduously, into rehabbing his whole style. He learned the American wedge technique. It's a technique that's helped him, and he should get an opportunity to prove it. 2nd and 10. Samuel. Dangerously. Why would he throw it there, John?
Well, he had to throw it near the out-of-bounds marker and beyond the first down marker, trying to get more yards. But this whole game now rides on the shoulders of that man right there, John Hall.
He is 2 for 2 today. He missed 2 last week against Stanford. Simply put, it's been an adventure for him this year.
And let's see, Penn State calls a timeout. That actually might help him. Remember, early in the game, Wisconsin called a timeout, and he made the field goal after his own team called the timeout. That was the first score of the day, 3-0.
2s across the board for Hall today. The genuine Chevrolet MVPs of the game are Richardson, Wally Richardson for Penn State, and Ron Dayne from Wisconsin. Chevrolet would donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. And who knows, those Chevy MVPs might change should number 14 tie this thing and have us go into overtime.
For his career, he's 8 for 14.
Quick word from Dean,
from this distance.
Let's go to Dean downstairs quickly.
Guys, the coaches think the wind is not a factor. It seems to me it's a little bit into them.
Okay, Dean, this will come from 57 yards out. Straight away. Out of the hold of Tim Rosga. John Hall, here he comes. He had the leg, but he pulled it left. And Joe Paterno rides out of Madison with a memorable victory. And you've got to feel for number 14.
That's Jay Hayes.